The views and opinions expressed during Love and Life with Lana and Dave are those only of the speakers and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or the position of our podcast hosts or affiliates. Any content provided is not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything. All right, let's do it.
You're listening to Love and Life with Lana and Dave, the podcast where logic is power and you take control. Thank you for tuning in, making the choice to listen in and get ideas for your own love and life. Now, here are your hosts, Lana Williams and David Vaccaro.
Here's a podcast that I got together with a fairly new podcast partner in May to do. And there's a lot of things going on with this podcast. This is just my little intro to that podcast because so much went down between the time that I recorded the podcast and the time that you're hearing it. So this is a May podcast. So I maybe had maybe a month or month and a half. I had been working with Rhode Island Broadcasting. Also, I say RhodeIslandBroadcasting.com. It's actually RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. Basically, I went to make this podcast and I was still in a position at that time where Dave and I were still doing the podcast before Dave passed away. Now, I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but by now you should. Dave passed away on June 9th. It is October at this point. This is how long it took me to get the podcast done or edited and up on top of everything that went down with Dave and just my life in general being crazy and chaotic. The podcast that we did also lasted about 4 hours. And so, we digress quite a bit when we talk. And so I wanted to go through and get out the most important parts of the podcast that were relevant to the topic, which is dating in this day and age, or at current present, what dating is like. We kind of diverted off of the topic a couple times. So I wanted to make sure that I condensed all of the relevant information in the context of the actual podcast. So that's that. Yes, I'm going along with this too. So I'm going to try not to do that. But I just wanted to kind of preface the podcast with the stuff that I'm saying in it, because this podcast that was actually recorded about 5 months ago. Without further ado, here's the podcast. And this podcast is still a good 2 hours long. But believe me when I tell you, I actually cut it down to about half of what it was. And I think it's pretty good at this point. So here we go. This is me and Ira. Enjoy. This is Lana, and I'm here with Ira Marc. Now, is it Mark? It is Mark, correct?
It is Mark, yes.
Okay. And it's Mark with a C. We've been doing a podcast for, I feel like I've been around a month maybe or so.
Oh, I'm doing it now.
You probably
6 months. No,
Yeah.
about 6 months.
I'm new, so it's been about maybe a month or a month and a week or something like that. And it's called Going On Daily. It's on Rhode Island Broadcasting. And I think if you go to RhodeIslandBroadcasting.com, you should be able to find out everywhere else. Hopefully that's a main page.
Yeah, just Google it. You'll find it. Rhode Island Broadcasting.
To hear, and Ira and I usually have been bouncing off each other on Saturdays. Which is pretty cool. So we have a good rapport going. So I decided I would just take him hostage as a surprise or as a guest for this, because we started talking about on one of our live Saturday morning podcasts, we started talking about dating, which is a very popular topic on this podcast, if you've been following it. And it's just like basically the whole thing about two single people that are out and probably not as active as I should be. And just like what's out there right now and like why. If there's any possible way to try to and this is a podcast about logic, so we try to break down some analysis of what is happening, why it's happening, maybe some kind of a suggestion on what we could do that would improve or change or pivot the social aspect of this, because it is a unanimous opinion for everybody that I know that's single and dating. It is a shit show. And by the way, we can swear, we can say fuck, we can say shit, we can say balls, we can say whatever we want on this show.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. What exactly, maybe how did we get here? And how's it been since I last talked about it, which is probably a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And Dave and I have hashed it out a million times. Everything from the dating apps to like just social life in general, and how crazy it is that, and you and I talked about this, how crazy it is that like people now like just don't congregate in groups like they used to. And now when we were young, it was like, not only was it like something we tried to do, it was just like part of everyday life. And so I read a little bit of Mel Robbins not long ago saying that it's very obvious that there's a reason why most of us don't make friendships and don't meet people like we used to when we were in our like high school, junior high school years, even elementary years. How?
As soon as you said that, that's about dating. The first thing I thought of is because we're not congregating as friend groups anymore. And that's where that would happen.
But it's, so you would think it'd be common sense to think, because there are people out there that don't think about that. And it's, let's look at like just osmosis. If you're standing in a crowd of people all the time. When we were younger, we had maybe 2 or 3 circles that we ran in, but they were all pretty intimate circles. So we had our people in our neighborhoods that we just knew from whatever, since wherever we moved and we lived there and went to all the schools and everything like that. We knew those people indirectly even, but it was a constant, right? Yeah. Let's start with, we were all single back then. None of us had a history. None of us were involved. So that starts the process. Now we've been involved and we've been through relationships and going, oh, okay, now I have a different idea of what a relationship is. When I was 15, I didn't know what was going on. I just was like,
of course not.
I was just boy crazy. So it didn't matter to me what kind of relationship would be coming out of it, because you just had no idea of the concept, right? Mm-hmm. And you go through a couple of them, you're like, oh, okay. So you could see a lot of things coming through social circles. If you do meet people or talk to people, you can see ahead of the time. Oh, okay, I can see where this is going. And you're a little more gun shy. But you had your high school, whatever, people that you went almost through 12 years with. And sometimes you would even go into college with those people if you went to the same schools. So you have that familiarity. And then you have a basic family circle that you're in, right? And then your family circle has extended people in it, meaning your mom has friends and they have kids, and your brother sister, or you go to family reunions or family events, and there's always people that show up that are adjacent to those people that you see all the time. And so that's, I think, another circle. And then you have that strict social circle of, okay, I see everybody in school, but then I have my friends, people that I will be with forever. And then those people bring in sort of mutuals and whatever, right? So all that's going on for 20 years, right?
Yep.
So now nobody goes anywhere. You socializing, it's all virtual, right?
It's a pain in the ass. And that's why they said, isn't it going to be better when we're already home and online? We can just date through apps now. Oh, God.
So the dating site thing, and I think I'm always going to refer to past podcasts because I feel like we beat a dead horse with some of this stuff. Go for it. Probably 80 or 85% of the dating sites out there are owned by one company.
Oh, didn't know that.
So if you, now, I don't know if you had this in your area, but we did here the multi-club concept. And I'd like to use it to try to explain what this means. I was reading an article about the Match Group. Now, if you look up the Match Group online, you'll see the Match Group's probably got something like 25 sites under their umbrella.
Oh, wow.
They're responsible for Tinder, Match.com, OkCupid. Like, they just bought out all these sites.
Oh, wow.
So there's your first problem with dating sites. Mm-hmm. We used to have a multi-club here. We've had a couple of them. I worked in several of them as a DJ. And the whole thing was you would walk in the door, pay your $20 or not even. It was like $10 or whatever it was, $8 on the way in. And you would come in and there would be several rooms where you could go to different types of clubs. But what they would do is they would create like this atmosphere of competition within the building. And people would forget that the owner would take the money in anyway, no matter where you went. So it would be like, do you want to go to this bar? You want to go to that bar? With the exception of bartenders, where you would be giving them direct tips. And if you liked them, you would make sure that they made their money. The money at the end of the day went into the same safe. But there would be a competition within the building of which was better. You would lose track of.
Yeah.
But you had to keep reminding people, like, it doesn't matter what. You could come into the door. The only other thing I can think of is like Disney, where Disney is like, they get you at the door. You don't have to go on any rides. You don't have to do anything. You can come in the door, pay your, what is it now, $125 or whatever it is?
Something like that, yeah.
And you can walk right back out, and they don't care if you go on anything. Like, they get you for the whole kit and caboodle walking in. So this is how this place is. These multi-clubs are like that, where you walk in and there's different... You got a rock room, and you got a room that's all dance music. You got a room that's all
R&B, remember that.
A country room, whatever. That's all great, but for the most part, those individual clubs don't have cover charges. It's the front door. So I believe that dating sites are like that.
Right.
In the sense that they're trying to tell you that you could choose between OkCupid or Tinder or Plenty of Fish or Match.com, but or you could pay for it, or you could go to a free site. But all of them are going to the same place. So you got that going on, right? So everybody always says to me, what's the best site? What difference does it make?
Doesn't matter. Right.
All they're doing is finding the people. They're trying to figure out a place for every single person that would be looking. And no matter which one you go to, you still go into them. And at the end of the day, how much of their algorithm and concept is going to change?
It's not. It's just the name on the website. That's all.
Secondly, people have to remember that dating sites are not looking for you to actually meet somebody. That's going to ruin their profit. They're looking for people that they can sell to advertisers. Or they're looking for subscriptions.
Wasn't that the big selling point of Hinge? I remember the commercials. We want you to find somebody so you can destroy our app. At least that was a different strategy.
I think Hinge is independent, or at least is of that group.
Oh, good for them.
So I think Hinge is, and I think Bumble is independent. eHarmony is independent, although you have to do a dissertation just to get on there.
I have my own issues with them. Yeah.
And what's the other one? There's another one that I can't think of right now that's completely different.
Oh, there's a million.
But anyway, none of them would be in business if everybody that came onto the site met somebody immediately. You've got to be in there. You've got to be flipping around through people, and you being there, you get your eyes on whatever the heck their advertising dollars are. And that's that. So you have to remember, you have to use the tool to your advantage, because technically they're not looking for you to meet somebody. They're looking for you to stay there. As a matter of fact, I know from the beginning of Match.com, anytime somebody was ready to get rid of their subscription, they would automatically suddenly get a bunch of emails that they had to go check.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
We learned that there was nothing going on there. It's just getting you to pay that extra month. And then you would go in there and it'd be like nothing in there. A couple of ads or something. So that's that. There are ways to use a dating site to your advantage, but for the most part, if you follow their rules, why would they give you like information that's going to make you go away?
It's just a tease. It's basically, here's the promise of it. And will the promise keep you coming back? That's it. So even if you have a bad experience, it's, that was one time, I'm going to go again. And then it's again and again. And
if you follow the dating concept of what most people think relationships are about, we also have people out there that don't have any contentment with who they are. It's a big deal to be content with yourself. I know people are like, "What if I'm content with myself? Then I'm never going to find anybody." And blah blah blah. No, you can still find somebody when you're content, but your standards change. Your ability to sniff out bullshit changes. If you're like, "Hey, I'm happy to be by myself," then you're going to be very selective about who you allow in.
I believe the movie that ruined dating or changed people's opinion was Jerry Maguire.
Really?
Because in that movie, there is a line that says, "You complete me." I disagree completely. I am complete, and I'm looking for someone who is complete. So we together can help each other just be individuals. I don't like the standard of they're a couple, and I agree you should make each other better. I do agree on that.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for anyone to complete me. I feel complete, so I'm ready to include someone in my life.
Right.
How many people are looking
you.
for someone to complete?
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'm going to sidebar on Jerry Maguire. Don't get me wrong. I am a huge Cameron Crowe fan.
Okay.
I love Cameron Crowe and most of the stuff that he's done. However, the character that Tom Cruise plays is based on an actual sports guy.
Yes.
And I forget his name, but he went on after this relationship that they're highlighting in this movie. He went on after this relationship to continue that pattern. I think he went to 3 or 4 women after that.
Leigh Steinberg. Who was a noted sports agent. Yes.
And so it's a nice, I don't know, I've always been very leery about, I think it's very Ozzie and Harriet when you watch something, right? You want to watch something that's makes you feel good and ties everything up in a nice little bow because that's what entertainment is. But based on what real life is, for the most part, usually is a very idealized version of whatever you're watching. So to me, Jerry Maguire is great because it's got great lines. It's got some good comedy. It's got some great actors in it. Don't get me started on Tom Cruise and his whole thing.
Talk about little Jonathan McNicky and how much does a human head weigh?
Yeah. Anyway, the concept of taking a moment in time and Cameron Crowe going, okay, here's a really cute part of this guy's life where it appears that he learned his lesson. That character learned absolutely nothing in real life.
No, absolutely.
Like, for all we know, he's still out there going through women like it's water and not being able to be by himself. And that's the whole concept of that movie. And so
that's why they say adapted from, like, we're going to make it happier for you.
But I tell people and they're like, oh, what's the fun in that? It's because you could base your life on this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not actually what you really want to do is go find out who that person is. And maybe you could learn from their stuff that you learned that they're doing in real life. But for the most part, nothing in that movie is something to model your relationships after at all. Yeah. If anything, you should learn how not to be in his position and have to have somebody in his life where he can't be by himself.
In that movie, though,
yes,
he's trying for the moment to be a better person. He's trying to improve. So if you want to take anything from that movie other than show me the money, it's good to keep trying and striving to improve yourself.
Yes. The part that I loved in it was that, and hopefully Leigh Steinberg learned this lesson, to not become such a douchebag that you don't care about your clients. Speaking of Tom Cruise, I got to go to Top Gun. And I got to say, Top Gun was such a great movie. But then, like, when I went to see it in 1986, I think, it was a great movie. I loved it. But the romantic part was, like, random to me. I never understood it. It made no sense to everything else. It almost didn't go with the movie to me. It just seemed like it just didn't seem like it fit. And I found out later on that they actually added it after the fact. And that's why it felt so unnatural to me. They added it for ticket sales. Because the movie was based on just the guys and the crew and the school and all the stuff that they did. But I guess their focus group or whatever, they're testing on it, they didn't get enough female interest. And so the Kelly McGillis character and all that other stuff was brought in after they filmed the movie. They stuck it in between. And that's why it doesn't flow to me. Like, it never flowed when I was watching it. Not saying that it has to make sense or it has to all go together, but it didn't. The timeline was weird for me. It was just like, what is this?
It's funny you bring that up. And I'm going to bring up another Tom Cruise.
That's okay.
Which was A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Which is an awesome film. There is no love interest at all in that movie.
That's why it's
and when they talked to the writers, there was supposed to be a love interest between Tom Cruise and Demi Moore at that point. And finally, the writers just said, you know what? We don't need it.
Yeah.
Now, in Top Gun, I would argue, I think it humanizes his character a little more. That, oh my God, he can care about something other than flying, because that seemed like he
cared about Goose. That was, to me, the love story of that movie. Goose. And it doesn't have to be, to me, a love story doesn't have to be a romantic love story.
There are plenty of movies that I agree.
The Shawshank Redemption was technically a love story between two inmates. Not that it was in any way romantic, but it was a good relationship. It was robust. It had all kinds of dimension to it. It had a really good environment around it in which that it had to survive. There's also a movie by the name of Juno. You may or may not know.
Oh, sure.
I love Juno. That's one of my favorite movies because of the dialogue. I love intense dialogue, and it's just got such great dialogue. But there's some romance in the movie, and it's okay. But the romantic aspect of that movie is really Juno's character with Jennifer Garner.
Thank you.
Romance is really a budding romance between Juno's character and Jennifer Garner's character.
Yeah.
Is really, and it's not that they're romantic, it's the relationship that's intensified in Juno wanting to have a really good mother for her child. Jennifer stepping up to that plate. Both of them are doing it to be damned of all the other characters, including Juno's parents, including Jason Bateman's character eventually. So to me, there's a little, what do you call it? A little nucleus relationship in each movie that's important. And then everybody else is supportive of that, but it's not necessarily focused on them anyway. And there's a scene in the mall where she's there with her friend and she's probably 8 months pregnant or something. And she just runs into Jennifer Garner's character who's...
I know the scene.
Yeah. And to me, that's where she falls in love with Jennifer Garner. Where Jennifer Garner's, can I talk to the baby and blah, blah, blah. And her own friends, oh, I'm bored with this. Bye. This is boring. But here's proof to me that this woman was meant for this child.
You love this kid already.
Anyway. So sometimes it doesn't have to be romantic, and I don't believe it.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes they try to shove it in there and make it just to whatever. And a lot of times...
Certainly, what got a lot of attention recently, it's a few years old now, but there was a big thing about the love scene not taking place, and I'm talking about an animated film, Frozen, which was basically just the love of two sisters.
Yeah.
And they even tried to show one. They told us at the end, like, oh, the boy kisses the girl and nothing, because that's not the love we were talking. Right. It was those two sisters. So you can do that.
Yes.
There is many types of love out there.
Yep.
But what we were talking about is trying to find somebody.
And how people visualize, like we came up in an era where you had the nice guy trope, right? How many movies did we watch where the nice guy got the girl or the nice girl got the guy? And so I know a lot of our people in our generation thought that was the way it went. So there was this grand gesture you were supposed to do, and the woman was supposed to go off with you because you did the right thing. But they never got any accountability about, was this person actually attractive to the person they're trying to go after? And so that's why I loved Pretty in Pink, because Pretty in Pink bombed when they tried to make her go off with Ducky. Nobody liked it.
No.
Because that was the standard formula. But then they were like, no, we want her to have, we want her to have Andrew McCarthy.
Blaine, that's the name of an appliance.
It's like a great movie. I love it. And so I personally had a little bit of a crush on Andrew McCarthy because of the character he was in a lot of those movies. And I'm talking everything. I think he was in St. Elmo's Fire. He was like that.
He was in St. Elmo's Fire.
In Class, he was kind of like that same guy.
Yes, he was.
For whatever reason, even in Less Than Zero, although he was a little more raunchy in that, but even there, he was that same kind of character, with the exception of him, I think, being very privileged in that movie. He just had that quiet, unassuming thing going on that I love. That's my particular thing. I like the nerd thing. I like the very quiet, unassuming type of guy. That's always been my thing.
Okay.
Not the shy guy, not somebody who I can't even have a conversation with, somebody who's pretty confident in who they are. As I got older, it was more like somebody that just didn't have to peacock. They were pretty content who they are, and they were pretty okay with themselves. And if they went into an environment where they didn't feel they fit in, it didn't rattle them too much. They were just like, okay, whatever. Unfortunately, those type of guys aren't the type of guys that I connect with unless I step off the wall. In my situations, I've had to be the one that has to approach, which is fine.
I was going to say there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Most guys would appreciate that.
They do, but your friends give you flack about that. I don't know if it's because they feel like weird about it because they're not doing it or whatever the case may be.
I think that's it.
I have a problem with persistence. I think persistence is something I get back in the early 19. I get that there was a point in time where women were supposed to be very demure and not very outspoken, and they weren't supposed to be saying yes too quickly and things like that. I get it. But there was a point in time where there were women who think that somebody who's persistent, they must really be interested. This person must be for me because they don't stop trying, and that's not really proof of any kind of compatibility.
I had a friend in college and he was dating this girl who was much, much too pretty. Definitely, he was punching above his weight. She was way too pretty. College ended, you lose touch.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years later, I found him on Facebook, and they are together and married. I went, oh, that's interesting. I go to meet them, and we talk about things. He said, oh, we broke up after college. And I said, oh, so what happened? How are you back together? I never forgot her, and I would run into her. Oh, really? Where would you run into her? I would drive by her house almost every day until she noticed. And yeah,
It didn't go away.
yeah, she even said, she was like, he was there. He was there when I needed somebody. Her father had just passed. He was there.
Eventually, you'll be there for something.
Yep. And look, they are together, 2 kids, and 20 years later, and all that was persistence.
Well, I guess
I would call it stalkerish, but
that's how I feel about it. I was told by my relatives when I was young that it was better for me to date a guy that liked me more than I liked him. That was the best way to go. Like, they would straight up say that to you. And I never understood that. What? Okay. Other than me not worrying about anything or somebody going anywhere. But should I have any say in the relationship? Should I have any interest in the person? I don't understand why I would
hopefully.
I don't get that. And don't get me wrong, but I know that some women are attracted to things other than physical chemistry or looks. I get that. So I can't say that everybody else has the same viewpoint as I do. But to me, physical attraction is extremely important. I know some people think it isn't.
I cannot stress that enough. Because everybody who tells me, oh, you're waiting for a supermodel, which I am certainly not. And then I ask them, and they go, so you're just about looks. And then I say, how did you meet your significant other? Oh, as soon as I saw them, I knew they were beautiful. They were gorgeous. I'm like, oh, so you're allowed to have attraction? Not.
Fundamental attribute where everybody else is doing something wrong, but when you do it, it's okay. Because you know why you did it. But in my case, what I try to sell to guys is, because guys will try to convince you that you're being overly picky when you don't pick them in specific. It's them. They don't have a problem with you being picky until you're telling them no.
It does. It does, though. Come on. If you aren't taking gym class when you were a kid, it's going to hurt your feelings. Later on in life, if you don't get picked, it's going to hurt your feelings.
But you have to understand, like, dating I know people think it's personal, but it isn't. It just isn't. You have to have somebody interested in you in the same way you are them. And if they're not, it isn't something you did. It's not like you caused it. It's not your fault. You're not to be blamed for it. I know there's a lot of people that have a hard time understanding how to process that. I don't know. When somebody's not interested in me, then I'm like, okay, I can put myself in their shoes. I've been around guys I wasn't interested in. I get it. And when that happened, it wasn't anything they did wrong. It just was what it was. So I would never take it like as an affront to me. I just take it as, oh, okay. And I also take it as, some people don't understand this. Let me see if I can explain it to you and you get it.
Yeah.
Somebody that isn't interested in me mutually is not a prospect that I will consider. Meaning, if they're not interested in me in the same way I am in them, then they're not a considered aspect for me. So therefore, I will eliminate them based on the fact that they're not mutually attracted. Therefore, because I don't want somebody that is for me. That's why I was saying earlier. It depends on levels and what people think attraction is. But if I'm not interested in them in the beginning, it's not going to change. Meaning, if I'm not attracted physically, like if the physical attraction isn't there from the beginning, it's not going to. And believe me, I've tried. It doesn't change. It just I just end up with somebody I'm not interested in that, like, I date 4 times and they think otherwise. And then it just becomes a problem.
I want to go back to something you said earlier, though, about when you are not interested in how they take it. Is it okay if I'm going to take it personally? Is that healthier that I feel that way? Because I'm saying I actually like myself and I believe I have a lot to offer. How could you not give me a chance to show you that, other than, she didn't like me and maybe I'm not worth it?
I don't think it's self-worth related. I think people bring their egos to the table a lot. It's not self-worth. So it's the match game. You have a bunch of cards facing down. You turn 2 over. They don't match. That means there's no chemistry. Nobody has any control over chemistry. It's just either it is or it isn't. If they don't have any, why would you want them to assume that you're okay with that? If they continue to date you under those circumstances, wouldn't you want them to eliminate themselves? They don't want somebody to hang around.
How could you not like me? How could you not grow to love me?
That's the problem. To me, that's a problem with dating in general. There are things that guys do, in my opinion, when you're talking to them, when you're not interested. This is what causes women to ghost, in my opinion. A guy who says, what can I do to change this? They want to continue the conversation. You say, listen, hey, we went out. I had a good time, but unfortunately, I'm not feeling it. But I wish you the best. Whatever.
I'm fine with that.
Let's say that it's diplomatically said, right? And they're giving you the information immediately, so they're not wasting your time.
I like that.
And a guy that goes, why not? Now, to me,
no, I don't want to know.
We get that, right?
Yeah.
Even if you do know, I don't know that you can use the information anyway.
And what that one person doesn't like, the next person might like it. So if you change, you're changing for
that information is like completely not, unless you're not brushing your teeth and not taking a shower for 2 weeks. That kind of stuff is stuff that you could probably use that information. But in general...
Do you remember what caused us to even talk about dating? Do you remember the article?
I forget.
The article that I brought was in Australia, they're having what they call practice girlfriends, which has nothing to do with sex.
Okay. Yeah.
And wouldn't you want someone, you go out on a date, and yes, you are paying for them to go out, and you choose the activity and pay for everything, but then they can give you the constructive criticism of, I didn't like the way you were mean to the waiter, or the way you dress is maybe not your age, and they can give you the constructive criticism.
So somebody's trainable. That's not necessarily like a deal breaker.
It should
Obviously, you don't want to be like dressing some dude up. You don't want to be teaching some dude manners.
Oh, no.
But at the end of the day, if you feel like somebody has room for improvement, I think that's different than I'm just not attracted to this guy. I don't know how else to put it except, do I eventually want to see this guy naked or touch me in any way? Nope. That's what it comes down to.
So women are thinking the same thing men are.
I have a brain that's different than most women, so maybe that's the way I think of it.
Okay.
A guy's got to be intelligent. I have this whole thing of a guy's got to be intelligent. And if I think he's not intelligent, then I'm just like turned off. If he's cute,
right,
but not very bright, I'm just kind of, oh, that's too bad.
I was just going to ask you, I'm like, how much does that cute factor go? He can now be this intelligent. And if he's this, how can he be this intelligent?
No, because the less intelligent someone is, I just can't do it. I got to have a conversation with somebody. I got to be able to do that.
Bingo.
I can't. I've had my boy toys and all that. And in that case, that's different because you don't really care. You're not going to get involved with them anyway. That's a different story. But when you're going to end up getting involved with them, you have to bring them around people and you have to talk to them in between whatever's going on. If I can't talk to somebody, I can't do it. But they also have to be attractive to me. I have to be able to look like what I'm seeing. So
we are animals. That is the first thing we notice, which is why dating apps are like, oh, I saw this and I read 3 sentences. No, you like the picture and they live nearby. End of story.
I agree. I think you should go beyond the picture. So here's another thing that women have a problem with dating sites because men don't read that stuff. And I understand. I'm glad you do, but most men are like asking you questions that you've already put in this profile. And I've had guys straight up the directive thing of, I don't want to read your profile. I'd much rather find out from you in a conversation. And you're just kind of like, yeah, because I've talked to 20 guys and I don't want to have to keep repeating this stuff. The only reason it's in my profile is so that we can get past that because this is all basic information that you should look at while you're considering whether or not you want to even talk to me.
Right.
Before you even say hello, you should have already gotten this stuff off the table and said, okay, I've read all this and I'm good with it. Not ignore it and then force me to tell you. Or telling me you can write anything in your profile, but I'd much rather talk to you. I could just say whatever they want. Yeah, okay, but I'm not going to run off a bunch of stuff that I've already covered just so that you can feel like it's an organic conversation because it's exhausting.
I can agree with that.
But if somebody's good looking and then I can find out that they're really intelligent, there's a click there. They start talking about some kind of scientific, I don't know, whatever, like string theory or quantum physics or whatever it is.
Like I said, if they are a complete person, it will interest you to find out about them as much as they should be interested in finding out about you.
And that has to be mutual. And I think that's why there's so many mismatches out there, right?
Yes.
But you have people that are out there. So in the dating sites and in the dating pool, you have people out there that you got the people that are tire kickers. I don't know what else to call them, but tire kickers. Like, let me set up an app and I'll talk to people and see whether I feel like being bothered. And no, 3 weeks in, I don't really feel, I decided I don't want to do any of this. And they shut their profile down. There's a lot of those people out there. There's people that are already married, involved, that are looking for stuff on the side.
Yep.
And then you have people that are, they think that the next person, like we were talking about earlier, they think that nothing that they did was wrong and everything was based on the last person they dated being the wrong person.
Red flag.
But unfortunately, it's so hard sometimes to see these people and weed them out, where they think, once you start talking to them, you can pretty much tell. They're like, oh, yeah, I was not a problem. My ex was terrible. They're the problem. So when you hear that from anybody, you're like, okay, here's somebody who didn't get their work done. You want somebody who wants like an equal partner, but you want somebody who's done their own self-reflection.
Yes.
So when you say to somebody, so, what happened to your last relationship? One of my exes said something to me like, you know what? To be honest with you, neither one of us was right. And you're like, okay, here's somebody who thought about, learned something, and tried to do some kind of, hey, what did I bring to the problem? Always, if you look at, to me, self-reflection is a big thing. And if I don't see it, I'm like, no. Because that person's not going to think, they're going to think you're wrong too.
Oh, absolutely. I was married for 10 years and I consider it a success, even though we're not together. Not only because we have a daughter and beautiful adult now, but because I did learn a lot about myself. When people say, what happened? And I can tell you some really fun stories. But I can also sit there and go, wow, the most important thing I learned is when we would fight, the fights would a lot of times be about other things and they might get nasty. And I finally got to take a step back and went, I'm actually fighting to quote unquote win the fight rather than resolve the issue. And that became the first thing that when I would date someone else and there would be a disagreement and it would get a little off track, you're not trying to win. You're trying to resolve the issue. You have to do, like you said, anybody who walks out and goes, isn't that shit crazy? I had to get out of it. And how was the one before that? Oh, she was that shit crazy. I'm like,
yeah, you get these guys that are like, I don't know what it is about me. All I do is date crazy people. Is that the story really? Is that the whole story? It sounds to me like it's like a biased viewpoint of your history. It is. And so I always say to them, all of them dated you, so they had you in common.
Ding.
And don't get me wrong, I think it's a really big deal if somebody can say, you know what, I'm not perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
Relationship was not good, but to be honest with you, I blah, 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 or I was just as bad, or I would feed into stuff, or whatever. I don't need to know the personal aspects of it, but just, I was just as guilty of things going wrong as what I want to hear.
Absolutely.
And of course, being who I am, you can go ahead and tell me all that all day long, but of course I'm going to ask why. So I hope if you say that to get my attention, you have a good story to back it up. If you know your psychology, you don't know why people do what they do. That's how I look at what people tell me. So I don't take people's word for stuff. I don't call them out on what they're telling me, but I'm genuinely interested in what makes them say what they say.
Okay.
So if you just give me a line, that's great, but I'm going to want to know what's behind the line. I want to know why you're telling me that. And I also want to know what you mean by that. And I have people that get frustrated because I just don't take it and run with it and not ask questions. You got the wrong chick because I ask a lot of questions.
What's wrong with questions?
Nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with questions. Well, it sucks if you, exactly. It sucks if you just want somebody to buy your bullshit and not dig into it, then I guess that's what's wrong with it. But
I've recently heard, and it took a while, that I've always heard the expression that a man marries a woman hoping that she doesn't change, and a woman marries a man to change him.
I've heard that
what are your feelings on that?
I don't agree with it. I don't know if it's true or not. It's not what I do, but I don't know if it's true or not.
You seem to be an exception to the rule then.
And then we go back to I can't win because I want a perfect day one. I don't want to fix anybody. I have no interest in projects. I don't want to. And I don't mean perfect like...
Wait. Yeah. Is trying to improve someone help them? Is that... And by the way, asking for help and appreciating the help.
Okay.
Is that fixing someone?
Yes. I think a person should be fixing themselves.
Okay.
Period. If you ask me, if you tell me to make sure you're accountable for something that you're trying to do, that's different because I'm supporting it. But I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going to be the one who does the work and you just kind of... But I was born and raised in a background of we all do our own thing. We all take care of ourselves. We all make sure. So I'm real intrinsic. Yeah. And so it's hard for me to run into people who aren't, because I'm not good with that. I don't want to be your cheerleader. That's not my thing. I'm doing my own thing. You need to do your thing because it works for you, and you need to be accountable and you need to inspire yourself. I've dated guys that are like, I don't want to really do that unless I have somebody to do it for. And it's no,
I disagree with that. You should want to do it for yourself.
So I'm supportive.
Okay.
Of somebody who says, listen, I'm looking to get my shit together. I don't want to eat bad food. And I'm like, all right, if I live with you, I'm supportive of that. All right, well, I'll do that with you. It can't hurt for me to eat better. Let's clean the kitchen out. Let's get the right shit in here. That's fine.
Okay.
And if I say to you, hey, remember, blah, 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 but it's going to be something you're already interested in doing. It can't be something I implement on you and you don't have any work to do. I'm just yelling at you all the time to get it right. I don't want to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I want you to want to improve yourself, and then I'm all about agreeing with you and helping with you with stuff that you're doing.
That's fine. To me, that is a cheerleader. You're being supportive. That's what a cheerleader is. They're supporting.
Not literally. I know some people really like that positive reinforcement. Look what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. That's not really my thing. But I can come along with some kind of like loose guidelines that you set. And then as long as you're not going to scream at me when I try to tell you, hey, remember when you said you wanted to do this? I don't want to have an argument with you because you don't like me bringing it up. If you're okay with somebody mentioning it every once in a while, hey, remember you wanted to, whatever, you wanted to run a mile every morning or whatever it was, that's fine. But mostly you should be doing stuff because internally you want to improve it for you. Meaning, you can do it whether I'm there or not. I'm just there to help. I'm there to support.
Remember, as we keep bringing up, it's two whole individuals coming together to hopefully help themselves make each one better, but not I'm making you better. You're supporting me to become better, and I'm supporting you to become. I believe in the if I treat you like a queen, you should treat me like a king.
I believe that it should be a Venn diagram, so everybody should have their circle, but it should overlap a little. In my past relationships, I've gotten flack because I don't take support. I'm used to doing my own thing.
It is tough. For years, my daughter, when she was 6, you want to be a father, you want to be a good father and go talk to me. And I noticed she would just shut down, and she would often turn around from. And eventually I started to notice little things. I said, she wants to be left alone with her thoughts. Let me do that. And once I adapted to her, it would be amazing that if I would give her 30 minutes alone, then she would come and say, Dad, here's the problem. But you just have to learn each individual, and you have to be willing to change for them, just like you would have to be willing to do whatever he needed to do. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Have you had people telling you, I can tell that they're angry through this email or this text? What?
I've heard that.
They're just words typing. Unless someone says, I am angry with you.
Actually,
you're conveying it, just what you just said.
Exactly.
There's a story.
I've learned that nothing is what you think it is. Most of it is your brain making that up. But I guess human beings tend to go with the worst case scenario.
I would guess so.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, most of us, if we have two ways to go about what's happening, we always take the negative way.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
So, but that's the kind of thing that people do. They have these underlying, I don't know, I guess it's insecurities or fears or whatever it is.
Right.
And they project it onto somebody else. And then they make it like that person's problem. It's actually it's pretty typical that dating is the way it is with that kind of, with people doing that kind of thing in their own heads. Yeah. Think about it. If you notice, it looks like we're having like a war between the genders right now.
Okay.
And so I belong to a group and it's like a bunch of Gen X single people. And I hate to say it, but you can almost see why most of them are single. Like the question, there's a lot of absolutism in the questions. Like, why are women like this? And it's okay. Yeah. You might have had 3 women who did this one thing, and then you took it to mean something that maybe didn't even mean because you didn't ask.
Right.
And now you're asking 18,000 women why they all do this thing. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think maybe there's like some kind of not critical thinking going on there where maybe
we're all looking for our lid?
Yeah, like you can say, you read these guys' profiles and they say something like, you can waste your life or you can talk to me. That's just something like if you're approaching dating with an attitude where you have to come in trying to one up the person before you even talk to them, or trying to boost your own self-worth by telling people about it. In other words, in my opinion, if you're a good person and you're a content person, then you're just going to be like, hey, this is how I am. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, that's fine. But you don't come in, hey, you want a piece of shit guy or you want to talk to me? I don't understand.
There are people out there who would rather be dating a piece of shit than be alone.
Yes, again, that's another problem.
You're not fully formed. You're looking to be completed.
I do believe that if you really can't be by yourself, you're gonna choose. You're gonna do the thing where you say, "Listen, somebody wants to be bothering me, so I'm just gonna make this an official relationship, and I'll deal with all of the rest of that later."
And you'll make excuses for his or her behavior later on,
because at some point you're gonna have to present them to the public, and they're gonna do something. Everybody's gonna ask you, "What the fuck's wrong with you? What are you dating somebody that did that for?" And you're gonna have to be like, "Oh." You got to know him. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, you just don't understand him the way I do.
It's kind of, if a guy wants to be seen as a decent guy, and this goes for women too, but I say guys because this is who I date. There's an optics aspect that they should follow. Meaning, I don't want a girl that I'm dating to even think I'm doing something because it looks bad. I'd like a woman to be aware of the fact that I'm a genuine person, and I'm going to be worried about the optics of that. In other words, if I'm a guy and I'm dating a girl for 2 years, and let's say I'm talking to some girl at work and she gets worried about it, I'm going to have a conversation with her and I'm going to say, look, this is something that's a problem or whatever the case may be. Instead of telling her, there's nothing going on, it's your fault. Instead of yelling at them and telling them that they have a problem, you need to talk about it like 2 adults. Sure, she might be insecure, and sure, it may be something that she doesn't have to worry about. But why backlash on her about something that she finds that's bothering her? Do you care? So the optics matter, and how she feels about what's going on matters, even if you're not doing anything. The defensiveness is sometimes interesting to me in that if I'm dating a guy and I'm talking to some dude at work, and I don't personally think there's any reason a guy should give me a hard time about that. And I wouldn't be with a guy unless I wanted to anyway, because I can't be bothered to talk to 2 guys. I don't have time to juggle guys. I'm too lazy I'm just too lazy for that. And I don't mind being single. So it's not, I have to have another guy in the wings because I can't be by myself. So if I don't want to be with who I'm with, I'm just going to get rid of who I'm with. It's not like I have to date another guy to get rid of I don't know. I just can't. It's just too much drama.
I've had, and the only reason I bring up my ex-wife I've had 2 long-term relationships in my life. One was with my ex-wife, and then I had a girlfriend for about a year. And the rest have been short-term or nothing.
Okay.
So I bring them up. As I'm very talkative, anybody who could see this, I can't stop. I want to talk to the world constantly, which is why I do podcasts.
Yeah.
So when I'm at work, I make friends. I have always had what is affectionately called now a work wife.
Yep.
I've always had someone who we get along and we bounce things off each other.
Yep.
Now, it took my wife a while to come around, and I made sure she wasn't uncomfortable. Nothing's going on. Nothing's going to go on. They've met, and everything was fine. And she went, "Oh, I get it." And when she told me after she got like a regular job that this is like my work husband, I wasn't jealous. I get it. Completely get it. Now, the girlfriend did not like it from day one. I said, if you meet her, you will see that I don't need to meet her. I don't even know why you have it. This is not a thing. I'm like, this is on you. Because if you know me, you know I'm not going to cheat. There is actually a backstory that I'm not going to go into of why I won't cheat, but there is a very good reason why I won't. And the wife knew it. The girlfriend of the time did not, and she gave me grief for it. I'm sorry, you know me at all.
I don't like jealousy. I don't have any. I don't like it.
Again,
it's extremely 14-year-old behavior.
Yeah. But you are different. There are women who will go, I don't want my guy to be jealous. And then when he's not jealous, he should be a little jealous.
No.
Oh, God.
If they want to be jealous, fine. I just don't want anything to do with it. Don't talk to me about it. Go talk to somebody else, or don't bring it to me and make me have to deal with it.
You've told me things that you didn't like when they were done to you. Do you adapt to the personality of the person you're dating? If they like to talk about their day, would you do that? If they needed you to go to the hospital with them because they wanted you, would you?
I'm a reverse person. That means that as much as I don't want anybody to help me, I'd probably be upset if they didn't want me to help them. It's completely different.
Okay.
However, I wouldn't be upset about it. I would get it. If somebody said, hey, listen, I want to go to the hospital and leave me alone or what, and they really meant it, then I would respect that. But if somebody went to the hospital that I was close to and I didn't know they were there, I probably would give them some shit. I'd be like, how could you tell me you were in the hospital? And my friend Chris Johnson will tell you, I found out he was in the hospital up the street, and I brought him, like, what do you want? I'll bring you whatever you want. I think he asked me to bring him a steak sandwich or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'm bringing you a steak sandwich. And then I went and I sat in the hospital with him, and I actually talked to him with his doctor and whatever was going on, because I was worried about it. And Mike coming there yelling at him, dude, don't be in the hospital. I don't like this shit. You need to get out of here. You're making me nervous. If something happens to you, I'm going to punch you in the face. I get like that. But anyway, he knows I love him.
I'll kill you.
But whereas some people don't want to help, they want everybody to pay attention to them. I'm like opposite. I don't like attention. I don't want any kind of, I don't like people fawning over me. I don't like any of that. But I will do it for people that I care about. Especially if they make it clear that's what they want, then I will. But I probably would anyway. But I did want to bring up a couple things before I forget. All right. So we have the history of dating then to now. What we talked about years ago, how it used to be, and how now I think personally there's not enough social activity, meaning you can talk to people online all you want, but all of the in-person social norms are missing.
Yes.
And it's very apparent in talking to people that they don't have any social skills right now. Because
Can I tell you very simply? Oh God. And like I said, I love to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I worked on TV where we would do man on the street bits.
Yep.
And I would always and I was the producer, but I would always be the one who would wrangle people over and get them in and let's start a conversation with a stranger and get them comfortable, because I love doing that. That being said, I have been on dating apps for so long that I was taking the train into work. And there was a woman who I felt was in my age range, age appropriate, which, again, we were talking about. I want to have something to talk about. So I want somebody age appropriate. I took one step. I smiled. She smiled back. The train came and I went, I don't know how to take a next step from here. I really don't.
Wow.
And I let her get on the train and I just went, I'm going to go on another car over there because I'm done.
So I personally think there's an inflated sense of, and my buddy Dave and I have had this conversation, that he thinks that he doesn't care, but he believes that men are screaming and yelling about how they're going to be taken as crazy or creepy if they speak to women at all, which I don't think is true.
Yes.
It's not.
Absolutely, 100%.
I think that's drilled into, I don't know who's putting that kind of, don't get me wrong, if you walk up to women and you say creepy shit, that could be taken as creepy. But a regular conversation, I don't think, without any kind of sexual innuendo, without any kind of, hey, can we go out? Hey, how you doing today? I don't think that's creepy. I don't think women are having any problem with that. And
we have gotten so browbeat that when a woman is kind and just having
What do you mean browbeat? Can you please tell me what browbeat means?
Yeah.
I think there's a group think on that that's not accurate.
I have a friend who has a good job. He's my podcast partner. He is personality plus. He's one of the smartest, most original people I've ever met. I consider him like a brother to me. He's a great guy. Cannot find a date because when he goes out on a date, if anybody even gives him a chance, it seems like he's not high enough on the ladder for them, or they don't understand his personality. And whenever anybody is nice, and we both had this situation where someone is nice, you sit there and go, are they being nice as in I have a chance? Or are they just being nice because we're being nice?
I would always go with being nice to be nice as the default, which is fine.
Which means we can't go any further because I don't want to risk coming off as the creep. If someone is nice to me, there has to be an ulterior motive. And that's what keeps getting...
I'm trying to find the disconnect, so I think I know what you mean.
Okay.
Here's the dichotomy or the weird problem with, at least up until everything changed in the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. So if you're out in public and you meet a woman that you like, most of the women that I'm friends with have agreed to this. And most men I know have disagreed with this, but it is what it is. If a man comes up to you in his intention, and I'm sorry, just like bees and dogs can smell fear, women can smell intent. We just can. And men can tell you all day long they can get around it, but it's bullshit. We can smell it.
Oh, it's bullshit. I agree with you.
I call it an outcome dependency. That men will not approach women unless they think they're going to get something out of it in the end. And when you have a conversation with them like, hey, why don't you just go out and talk to people just because they're people and you find them interesting, with no agenda whatsoever about where it goes, because it's completely organic. And if you feel like you're wasting your time by doing that, then I don't know, maybe we need to have a conversation about that, because this is just meeting people out in the wild and saying, hey, tell me something about yourself. Oh, hey, what's going on with you? How's your day? Whatever. And if it organically turns into a connection, great. I find that most men I talk to are very transactionally driven. They're like, I don't like that. That's not good for me. What's the point of me bothering with talking to a woman if that's where I'm going to go with it? And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a problem.
That depends. You're out there looking to make a connection for a date. I'm assuming you're talking about like a bar or something like that.
Because I don't think bars or clubs or anywhere specific is like a designated place to do something like that. I just think as a man, you should just, or as a woman, you should just be out there making connections with other human beings, just organically, just in general, because you're human with no agenda and no expectation and no anything.
So I am on both your sides. I'm on the men's side thinking, yes, I am out there looking and hoping that I do find somebody that is attracted back and we can date. That is the goal. However, it is never, ever a waste of time for me to talk and connect with another individual with nothing, no dating on the table. I love meeting people and talking to them, but that's not the goal.
But why can't men just drive without a destination? Why does the goal have to be in place? This is what I'm trying to figure.
You're telling me women never go out looking for a guy or a partner?
So women, most women that I know have that advantage of, I'm just out here. Most women don't actually have an approach or do anything on their end.
Absolutely, because they've been taught they don't need one.
I personally think they should, because I think they're only getting half the story when they don't, but that's another thing. But Like, why not just... I get that you're open to dating. I get being open to it. I get being open to meeting human beings. But if you're going to date somebody, the phrase, you will find something when you're not looking for it, applies.
But if I'm always looking, how is that going to help?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what is having to have the destination and then you miss the journey. If you can't talk to somebody without a goal, then sometimes the goal is what causes the problem. So I'm trying to explain this to guys.
No, I was going to say, I'm not going to use the word problem because I don't think it's a problem. But aren't men hardwired, I know I'm one of them, to here's my goal, I'm going to solve the problem. My problem is I want to date. I'm not going to just go there with no reason. I can't do it because I'm hardwired not to.
Men should figure out how to change that wiring because that's bad. I think that's not good. I don't think that's good.
Part of their hardwiring.
I agree. You're not going to get an argument with me out of that.
Then we're fine.
As a woman, there's all these things that men do that put up walls. They just do, and they need to stop doing it. A man that comes at you direct, if you ever go to a sales meeting or you ever go to a networking event, and somebody comes over and goes, "Hi, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. Nice to meet you." That's a forward-facing approach, and that is a sales approach, and that causes suspicion. It's a human thing that causes suspicion from the other person. It's just a body language that causes the other person to go, "What the fuck does this person want?" It's just
how do you approach that?
Side approaches are better.
Such as?
All right, I'm in a bar. I do these all the time because I'm a DJ. Okay. I get that as an excuse, but I do it anyway. So I'll walk by, I see a guy that I think is cute, or I see a guy that is interesting or whatever, and I'll walk up to the side and I'll lean over and I'll go, "Hey, what do you think how strong do you think they're making that fucking drink right there?" That's a side approach.
Oh, okay.
Now, they don't care who I am and I don't care who they are. The intro is another thing. Dump it. Intros are like sales pitches. Intros cause people to say, "Why is this person talking to me? What are they telling me their name for? Why?" It puts up a wall. Now, if you can talk to a man, and this is for all the guys out there, and I've also covered this all before, but how you approach somebody else, it almost sets a tone for the whole fucking relationship, whatever it turns out to be. So you approach as you mean to go on. So if somebody approaches from the side, it's less threatening. It's more...
True.
People are more open from the side. So you flank them if you want. You and somebody else can flank them. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if you talk to somebody from the side and you lean in, and I call it a by the way approach. That's what I call it. So I walk by a guy and I back up and I lean over and I talk to them from the side. "Hey, by the way, how much do you think that drink cost?" Or, "Hey, by the way, do you always come in here?" Or, "Hey, by the way, do you like this fucking song because I can't stand it?" Or whatever. It's good to bring up some kind of common ground thing.
I used to do that all the time when I was younger and go to a bar. And when I was in my 20s, that's where I was. Then you walk up and be like, the stupid little thing of, "Look, settle that for me. This guy thinks that, anything to not."
What you don't want to do is
the sales approach.
You don't want to you don't want to set off suspicion in the other person. Women have defense mechanism. I don't know if men like that, but that's the way it is. We do. And as women, because we are dealing with a world full of men, and that's all I'm going to say on that. So
my daughter carries 2 knives and pepper spray. So yeah,
you have to. we have to be hyper vigilant. So the very first thing most of us do, I think, just by default, is who is this person? What does this person want from me? Friend or foe? Right. Friend or foe? A side approach is better, and then not going in for the kill actually creates a different atmosphere. So if you're a woman and you're talking to a guy and he's just shooting the shit with you, but it looks like he could care less if he talks to you, you're going to be more open to him because it doesn't feel like he's going in. Men that are trying to get a phone number or a date or something are driving the conversation, and they're typically pushy enough that you can pick up on it. But underlying the agenda is apparent. We know it.
Yep.
Oh, but I don't care how smooth they try to make it. If there's a timing aspect on it where we're not talking fast enough or we're not getting to the point fast enough for them, we can tell. Oh, this guy is trying to push for a phone number. In other words, he's not trying to talk to me. He's just trying to get to the hook. That makes us like this. And I'll tell you why. Because we can't get any sense of who you are if women who are in defense mechanism cannot learn anything about the person they're talking to. They're too worried, or they're too nervous, or they're too focused on what it is that this person wants. to have any idea if the guy's any good. And I don't think guys understand that. But I'm a good guy, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, but you set off the wall. You set the wall up. Once you do that, a woman's like, all right, I need to figure out what this guy needs so he can go away. And they lose interest or they lose focus on who you even are. So, in other words, you're just a stranger. And so there's no connection there. The connection will never happen. And the woman will never get any sense of whether you're a good guy. You could be the best guy in the world, but if you have a shitty approach, you might as well forget about it. So I'm just saying, as a woman, this is something that I know for sure. I've been in clubs almost 40 years, and I've been in social events 40 years and all that kind of stuff. And I watch all kinds of interactions like I'm watching like National Geographic, like I'm watching Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom from a lot of perches in clubs and just watching like crowd, like how people circumvent through crowds and things like that. So I don't know how men can figure that out, but they need to figure out how to just talk to somebody. And if they literally genuinely don't care how it goes, women are probably going to be more open to that. And I mean that by saying men can say to me, no, but I can talk to a woman. Men think that they're smarter than that. And they think that, so they'll keep telling me, no woman I'm talking to has any idea what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm telling you, they're aware of it. They're onto you. I've heard that a million times where guys, no, I'm smarter than that. I could talk to a woman in such and such a way. I'm like, if there's any kind of strategy or agenda or goal or anything in what you're doing, we fucking know it. That's the end of the story. And
but what happens?
Yes.
And I'm going back to the very beginning of our conversation.
Okay.
If she has no attraction for you, so the guy opens up and he makes the, oh my God, how much is that drink worth? You know, tries to open, she takes a look at him and goes, nope.
Women are pretty obvious about that kind of thing, but also, a lot of women will talk back to a guy. Like, I always tell guys this: if you're confused, it's probably a no. If you're talking to a woman, and if it's a yes, it's definitely like something that you're not going to be confused about. You'll see it; it'll be very obvious. Okay. And if she likes you, you won't have to be like. It's not ambivalent. Well, the only time you'll see a little bit of ambivalence in the beginning is if she's just not sure who you are, doesn't know you. But if she looks at you and she's into you and thinks you're cute or whatever the case may be, you're not going to be confused about whether she likes you. It's just not going to be confusion.
I want to put up the 80s, the more you know.
Yeah. And I think that's the same thing with everybody in the sense that if somebody really likes you, it's not like you're not going to be sitting around going, do they like me? I can't tell. I don't know. It's not going to be. Times. And if you're dealing with somebody that really likes you, but you're still getting that impression, now you have to decide whether that person is somebody you want to deal with anyway. Because that's an attitude or a personality that's not going to be productive anyway in a long-term relationship.
Well, the dating is trying to decide, is this something I like? Is this something I like? Maybe I hopefully find it in the next person and I know better. Like we said, learning about yourself, learning about what you can put up with, what you can't put up with. My sister is married to my brother-in-law now for 26 years, I believe it is this year.
Okay.
The man is a great stepfather to my niece and nephew. They are a wonderful couple. They complete each other, two individuals completing each other. The man has no romance in his entire body.
Okay.
And for his anniversary, my sister comes out of a jewelry shop and just says, you know what? I really like that ring in there. And it was their anniversary. He went in there and goes, oh, let me see. He buys it. She comes out with the bag. And we're all sitting there going, dude, you can give it to her. It's a nice little romantic thing. And he walks away and all of the group was like, wow, no romance, whatever. So I'm talking with my sister. And I said, yeah, that kind of blew that one, didn't he? And she goes, yeah, I wish he were romantic. She goes, but let me tell you something. And this is something that has stuck with me forever. That man right there does not have any romance. He is 95% of the man that I want. And I'm just going to put up with the 5% because that 95 is pretty damn good. Yeah. For people who sit there and they make the excuse of they don't do this and they don't do that. What do they do? What do they bring to you?
You have to weigh it out.
You're not looking for that. Forget about that 5%. If you can get 95, that's pretty damn good.
And I laugh because if I do get somebody who's a romantic and it's like something they have to do, then we've got to either come to a compromise or we have to decide, okay, if I don't think this is going to work, if it's something that they can't live without, then fine. And out of all your love languages, although it's really steeped in religion, and so that's why I don't push Gary Chapman as a person so much, and I don't push his ideals. But love languages are a good thing to follow as far as what people do to express and receive what they want.
Again, understanding the other person.
And you could categorize it any way you want, but the categories that are there are pretty good. Mine is acts of service. That's it. Acts of service is mine. Most guys will say physical touch, but most of us are eyes. I'm sure it is.
Not gonna lie, but yeah.
I think everybody's is at some point, but not all the time. But like for me, that's romantic to me. Everybody's got a romantic thing that makes sense to them, and mine just isn't traditional. Mine is I get in the car in the morning and the guy that I'm dating in the winter has cleaned my car off. That's a major thing for me. Or you get up in the morning and you make my coffee the way I like it and bring it to me. What I like doesn't cost any money. You don't have to put it in a calendar. You don't have to write it down. You don't even have to speak to me. And then to some degree, quality time is important to me, although it's a second and then the other three are distant after that. For me, there's a receive and a give. And so it's for me how I like to receive and give, although I think some people's may be different.
I'm sure.
My friend Jessica, who is living in Pennsylvania now, when she was going through stuff, I forget if it was a surgery or something she was going through, and she watched my dog every day. My dog and her dog hung out. She had a yard. And so when I went to work, he'd go up there in the morning and hang out with the kids and play with her dog. And as a favor to her, she hated doing dishes. And so I'd go to her house and I'd have her stand there and talk to me, and I'd do all her dishes. I don't mind doing dishes. But it was a major thing for her, though, because she hated it. When she had a back problem, she hated standing there. Things like that, how we took care of as far as friendship. That's how we took care of each other, was to do things like that. We would take stuff off each other's to-do list. And I know that traditionally I've had a conversation with guys where they're like, I like to buy gifts. And I'm like, but I don't like to get gifts. I guess when it comes to gifts, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But it seems like you should just put your money in the bank to me. So it would be a compromise. Okay, then maybe you buy me a gift that's so cheap that it's not a big deal for you, and buy me something I might like.
What if I saw like a concert t-shirt, a vintage concert t-shirt, one of your favorite bands, and I go, I got to get this for you?
Yeah, so that's cool because
you would appreciate that.
I don't like birthday parties. I don't like any kind of surprises for that reason. I don't want to be in a room where I'm the center of attention. It's absolutely fucking horrific for me to go through that.
I crave it.
I hate it. It feels like blindsiding to me. So I don't like it. But
I get that.
Yeah. But if it's a low key thing and somebody brings me a gift and it's just like me and them and they say, hey, I just want you to have, I saw this and I thought of you here. And they just give me it. And they're not like, okay, open it. I want to see what you do. I hate that part. That's the part of gifts that is why I don't like them so much, is that somebody may have some expectation of me that I may or may not fucking fulfill when they hand me something. And I've had people say I wasn't excited enough about something they gave me, and I can only react the way I react. I don't know what to tell you. But that's why I'm not big on holidays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, any of that kind of stuff. Not to mention, I think it's commercialized anyway.
Valentine's Day is made up.
Yeah, they're all made up holidays.
You should be nice to everybody.
Anything schmaltzy or cheesy or anything grand gestury is weird anyway and performative for me.
You and I are completely different on that one.
Yeah, again, it depends on what it is, but there'd have to be a compromise of, okay, I'll put up with you doing this much of it, but I can't to this level, and then I'm okay. But if you go over the top, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to give you the response you're looking for.
Sorry. My sister shows this video of me every year, and it's been about 10 years maybe, where I had a big birthday and a lot of friends at a restaurant. They put the long tables together. So we took up about 25% of this room. They come out with a sparkler and they start singing Happy Birthday. And the video is me getting up, imploring the rest of the restaurant, why aren't you singing to me? Everybody sing to me Happy Birthday. And then my sister pans to the waitress who brought it out, who is just doing this. I'm like,
I can't stand to be picked out in a room full of people. It's very horrifying.
I want all of us together. Always. If I can get you all on my level up here to sing.
Now, I don't mind. I'm all about getting involved with somebody else's day. I'm a DJ, but DJs we're not the center of attention. Usually it's not us.
Well, you're responsible for getting everybody in the mood.
I am, but for me to get on the mic and scream at people to get up and do all that's not really...
Oh, you don't do any...
I'll do it, but it's not like my usual thing. But for me, as a DJ, I'm on the sidelines, which is the whole reason I do it. And to me, the dance floor or the guest or whatever, that's the person in the middle. So I don't mind even going to somebody else's birthday party as a friend or singing to them. I'm all about that. As long as the attention's not on me, I'm fine. So I don't mind giving someone else attention, but I don't like to be perceived by human beings. Just perception from human beings is horrifying for me. Oh, before I forget, I don't want to forget this. We talked about, I basically wrote down your experience, your plan, your strategy, and like what you think men want these days. Because from a male perspective, you might have some insight on that. So give me all of that. Your experience, your plan, your strategy, and what you think.
Men want, I'm going to start with that one first, always depends upon your age range. What are you talking about? If you're talking about someone my age who has been married, bought the home, had the kid, then divorced and did everything else. Like I said, I'm a whole person. I don't need someone to complete me. I'm not looking for the hookup or anything. I really want companionship and peace. And I think most men want peace.
Yeah.
I don't want to come home, have so many times talked about how the dichotomy changes when you get married. And women complain about this a lot. Why do I don't want to be your mother. I don't want to be, and you shouldn't. But why are you acting like that? I understand you assumed the role of caretaker to everybody. Why? Are you saying that he can't do it? Because for a time when I was married again, we had a kid and we didn't have anybody to take care of our child in the morning. I switched and I took another job with later hours. So in the morning, I was responsible. I would wake the kid up, clean her up, give her breakfast, wake my wife up, make her coffee, make sure her lunch was packed. I was a house husband for most of the day, got the laundry done, the meals done, cleaned the house, took care of the kid.
So you realize that most guys are not you, though, right?
I do realize it can be done.
I think that most women complain because most men, I think, come from families where they have mothers that do that for them. And a lot of them just run into marriages where they go, all right, well, the mother's gone, so now the wife steps in and I get the remote.
Okay, that's the reason I understand.
But women can also choose better than this. And honestly, this is what they're doing right now, which is why there's a male loneliness epidemic.
There are more women than men. They're getting more education, getting better jobs, buying their own houses. Yeah, I mean, in maybe, 50, 100 years, maybe we're going back to traditional will be the man stays at home because the woman makes more money.
Maybe. Or both of them could work. Like, what's wrong with...
Again, I have no problem with that. But here's what I'm going back to. Yes. You mentioned something very important to my mother in heaven. My mother was a substitute teacher for God knows how many years. When she was a regular teacher, and then when she had kids, became a substitute, but she worked all the time. She was a lousy cook, but she did cook for us, and she did our laundry. And at a certain point, when my sister, who is 4 years older than I, would tell us, this is how you do your laundry. And every other week would be, you're going to learn to do the shopping by yourself. You're going to learn to do the laundry by yourself. And we used to grouse about it and go, why did none of my friends do that? But we moved out on our own and knew how to take care of ourselves, knew how to take care of other people.
Perfect.
So maybe I am special. Maybe not, but if I am, I think for it.
You can hear men that are like, all I want is a woman that can cook. Women don't cook anymore. And it's, dude, you live on your own. You're single. So you already feed yourself. What do you give a shit if she cooks? You cook. So it's almost like some of these men, you can tell they're looking for somebody to step in and pick up some of this shit that they're doing. I don't believe in gender roles. I don't believe really in that. I believe that within your household, you both do whatever strengths and weaknesses you both have, you do.
I worked in a company where I was the only male in my department. About 8 women in my department. And Valentine's Day had come up. And my wife at the time had just gotten a really good job
Okay.
at a bank on Wall Street.
Okay.
So she said, for Valentine's Day, I'm taking you out. We're going to your favorite steak restaurant,
Okay.
and it's on me. By the way, it doesn't really matter because all our money is commingled.
I know, but yeah.
She's going to do it, and I felt such pride. I'm like, that is the sweetest thing. So when it begun the talk of, what are you doing for Valentine's Day? I said, very proudly, my wife is taking me out, and she's paying for a steak dinner. The face on the ladies was jaws drop. How dare you make her do that? Make her.
That's weird. I don't know. That's weird. Outside opinion. You know what I mean? There's a traditional. So I try to tell women this every year, and Christmas and Valentine's Day and even Mother's Day and some holidays like that, where holidays are commercialized. The companies are trying to make you buy crap on these holidays because they're trying to make money. So when you're sitting in an office and you feel bad because somebody next to you got flowers and you didn't, you have to blame your flower company. You need to blame Hallmark. You need, because this is the reason why you feel bad. They're trying to make you feel bad with commercials.
Yeah.
And with whatever social nonsense. And you pressuring your boyfriend or somebody that you don't have. Obviously, marketing is all about couples inclusiveness is like how marketing works. Right. So if you're single, you're already not a demographic. You're undesirable. And so that's why you feel like shit when you're single, because
unless you have to buy an engagement ring with 3 months of your salary.
Right. And that's another thing. It doesn't make sense to me, but you can't get mad at, you can't say that it's your lack of being a good person. You can't say that it's against some guy that you're dating that didn't do the right thing. All that stuff is put upon you by commercialism.
I agree.
And technically, it should be within your own relationship what you want to do. If I've dated guys that have wanted to do stuff on Valentine's Day, and it's okay. I don't care either way, and I'm not going to give you shit for not doing something. But if you want to do something, we discuss it. All right, you want to go get a dinner somewhere, and we do this little quiet thing. That's fine, but just know I'm not going to give you grief. It's not like a trick or anything. It's not something I'm going to give you a hard time over. If that's something you want,
but you're
okay
different.
With it. But
you're the outlier.
I don't think that the norm is healthy. I don't think that what most women think is tradition for Valentine's Day is like a fucking healthy attitude. I just don't. So shit, buy yourself flowers. If you're worried about what people think about you on the job, then buy yourself some shit. But I don't think somebody buying you flowers on Valentine's Day, if they're good people and they're somebody in your life, I don't think that makes them good or bad that they skipped that one day. Why can't they just give you flowers on Tuesday? Oh no, by the way.
You
know what I mean? Or if that's what you want, why does it have to be that specific day? Also, women don't like this, but if you want something, fucking tell somebody you want something. This thing about mind reading is absolute bullshit. I cannot stand it.
If you knew me, you wouldn't have to ask. No,
I can't stand it.
I'm not a mind reader.
Nobody. So I'm going to throw one of my friends under the bus. I love her dearly, but this is typical. What? So she calls me one weekend and she's got a nice house. She's outside doing something in her yard. And I call her on a Sunday. Hey, what's going on? And she's, I can't stand it. I'm in my yard and I'm raking leaves, or I forget what it was. Or I'm mowing my grass. And, if I had a guy, I wouldn't have to do all this stuff. And I'm like, you have a house. This is your yard. So this is your job. And she's like, I'm dating two guys. And I talked to both of them today. They both called me today to see what I was doing. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, the older guy, one of them, she was like in her 40s, and I think she met one guy that was like in his 50s and one guy that was in his 30s, that kind of thing. And it was early on for both of them. And the 50-something-year-old guy calls her, and she's, I'm in the yard, and I'm doing this, that, and the other. This was his reaction when he called. I didn't realize you were busy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Okay. Call me when you're done. He hangs up. The younger one calls her, and she does the same thing. I'm in my yard doing this and this. And he goes, I don't think you should be in your yard doing that. Why don't I come over and help you with that?
Okay.
So she goes, okay. So now she calls me. She goes, I know which guy I'm going out with. And I'm like, why? And she tells me the story. And I'm like, you put them both through a test, and neither one of them knew they were being tested. And I said, so now if I called you and you said you were in the yard raking, I would assume you were fucking busy.
Yep.
So the guy that was in his 50s is not wrong.
I agree.
And now
I don't think the guy in his 30s was wrong either, by the way.
and I'm like, but you made this out to be like a contestant thing. So the guy in his 50s who might like you and might be a really good guy, all he was doing was trying to respect your time and space. And you made it like, I don't want to date a guy like that. I want a guy that's going to come over and help me. And maybe he would have come over and helped you, but you didn't ask him for that.
Exactly.
And she goes, I'm not supposed to ask. They're supposed to offer. And I'm like, no. Again, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. That's an attachment style issue. And mostly it's with anxious people and fearful avoidant people where they'll do stuff for you as a people pleasing strategy.
Hold on. Yeah. Right here.
And they will
like
hold you to the people pleasing and they will assume that you're supposed to reciprocate. And when you don't, at some point, and that's fine. Yeah. But some do it because a lot of people come from households where they feel like they have to people please people in their lives because they're trying to keep the peace in the house. Usually kids dealing with parents that are fighting and arguing, alcoholics, things like that. So they're hypervigilant of everybody's mood in the house, and they try to people please to keep the peace so that everybody's happy so that they don't have to deal with the volatility. And then they carry that into their lives. But those people expect something back, but they expect you to know without them having to express their need. They just think, oh, when I do this, you do that.
No. Sorry.
And it's tough. It's definitely wrong, but there's a lot of people out there, this attitude of, I do this and I expect you to do that. And then they'll keep doing and doing. And then at some point, when it's not coming back, after they get enough impatience with it, they blow up and say, after all I've done for you, I can't believe you have not doing this for me, this and this. And you're just kind of, usually it's a minefield where you're just like, what the fuck is happening? I had no idea that you're mad at me about something. And
blindsided.
I end up attracting a lot of these type of people. And it's kind of, no, you did it because you wanted to do it. You didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Listen, you're in a relationship and this is how it goes and people are supposed to do stuff for other people. No, we're not following a rule book here.
Exactly.
If you're doing something for me that, first of all, you're making me take, I've told you several times that I don't want that or I don't need that or whatever. And you're telling me I'm doing this because I want to do it. And then I go, all right, because you keep telling me how important it is to you. So I'm okay with it. And I didn't realize there was like a catch to it. So now you can tell me how little I do back for you, or you can get mad at me and make me out to be a villain because there's something in your head that you expected from me but didn't tell me about. And now I'm guilty of not giving it to you. And there's a lot of people who do that kind of thing in relationships. There's a lot of people that think that there's some kind of thing that everybody universally knows. And if you don't know, something's wrong with you. And I don't agree with any of that. That happens a lot with dating, where somebody's just, there was a conversation in one of these groups about the passing gas with somebody that you're involved with. And I find passing gas to be like not something to kill a relationship over. I just don't think it's.
I just hope not.
But some people are like, oh no, I would never do that. And if somebody did that around me, that would be the last time. And it's like they get really upset, and you're just, wow. You find it to be that serious, like that? Like it's. People are human beings.
Exactly.
But people have to have manners, and I can't believe somebody that does that wouldn't have any manners, and they need to go off in another room and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, this is what people carry around in their dating lives. This is the stuff that they have hidden in their like fucking toolkit and don't tell anybody about.
And then wonder why they can't attract anybody.
So
why am I still single? Because if somebody farts, you're out.
But it's I'm a lot like a guy. So if I'm dating you and I'm talking to you, I'll talk to you while I'm sitting on the toilet and I'll have a conversation with you. I'll just do that. And I had an ex-boyfriend that was like, are you on the toilet right now talking to me? I can't believe you're on the toilet right now talking to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a woman and I'm not supposed to have any bodily functions. That's right. Men don't think we do any of these things and we're supposed to hide all of that from them. And I'm like,
did you see the Barbie movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw the monologue from America Ferrara. Women are supposed to do this and this and this and that. And your head is spinning by the time it's done.
Yes.
But there is a male equivalent to that as well. Just mean people are not perfect. End of sentence. Don't drop somebody off because they fart in front of you. Don't refuse to date someone because they're 5'10" and not 6 feet tall. Don't forget, like you said, you send your text messages short and sweet and to the point. That's you. If you love the ABCs of this person, then put up with it. Take the 95%, forget the 5%. I'm running for president.
And there's nothing that, at least in my case, and I know I'm an outlier, so that's why I explain things. Listen, I know you're used to this, but this is going to happen, and so be prepared for this.
Love it.
Do you believe that we talked about being content with yourself versus insecurity and codependency?
Yes.
Do you believe that wishful thinking and politeness causes a lot of problems? Meaning, I'm a guy, I see a girl I like, I want her to like me back. And she's being polite to me because she's trying to let me down easy. And so there's all this confusion that happens in there.
She's being nice to me. I can't hit on her. Wishful thinking will get you in trouble a lot.
And I don't think a lot of guys can put themselves in the shoes of somebody. I don't know why, because most guys have met women they weren't attracted to.
Of course.
And so when a woman isn't attracted to them, they can't conceive of that. And so you say to them, I'm sure you've met women that you weren't interested in. What's the difference?
That's different.
But why is it different? It's the same. Ego is a problem. And I have heard guys give lectures in great detail about how women need to lower their standards because of some guy that would do anything for them, and they're just not giving this guy the time of day. Do you guys really want a woman who's not interested in you to date you?
No.
Like, that's what you're asking for. You're asking for a woman to let...
I agree with you, but
yes,
there are also the ones who have the, I'm not going to give you a chance unless you're the 666. Do you know the 666?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay. There are those women, which is why I asked you before, what age range are we talking? Because there is a certain age range, 20s and 30s, a little more risk. And then if you're thinking about having children, at some point you can't be as choosy, even though you really should, because this is the father of your child.
Do you agree?
And then when you get to where we are later on, like I said, that part of my life is closed. I'm looking for something different. But in my 20s, if you're narrowing your search down to 1%, you're really hurting yourself.
So my next question is, do you agree that people have every right to have any preferences they want, so long as they're okay with the outcome of those preferences?
Absolutely. 100%.
Right? If I'm looking for 666, which isn't my thing, and it is very dark and could be, I don't know. I think the 666 could cause you some bad luck, but that's another story.
It is a bad number, yeah.
It is, but if that's what I'm looking for, if that's really what I'm looking for, if I say, hey, I only date guys that are 6 feet tall and with a blue truck, that's a dumb thing, right? It has nothing to do with anything. But if that's my choice,
can do it.
That's my choice.
Yep.
So I don't understand men trying to lecture women out of those things, unless those women are complaining about their options. In which case, now you have to say to them, wait a minute, you've narrowed them down and now they are what they are. You chose this. However, I don't think that it's wrong. I just think it's their choice. So in other words, I think if you're a guy that you would say, hey, that's what they want. They want the 666. And if they don't end up with any options because of that, then that's on them. Instead of getting mad and saying women need to loosen their standards and they need to stop looking for that kind of thing. Those women, they're the same women that I guess eventually they get mad at because those women do settle, but they settle later in life. And they're like, oh, now they want somebody that's not all that. Now that nobody wants them. Which is, of course, that hateful, weird gender war thing that goes on. But at the end of the day, I look at it this way, and I'm just trying to be straight. If we're dating, typically men, a lot of them are changing this now, which is nice. But I believe women are easier than men on just like becoming a solo project. Meaning a lot of women are just going, you know what? If I find what I want, great. But if I don't, that's also great.
That's a problem.
Why?
Because I know too many women who are like that. I know too many men are like that because they've all just given up.
Okay.
And I understand the theory of, look, I'm on my own. I've been on my own for a long time. And for a portion of time, I regret giving up a dating life, a social life, I shouldn't say a social life because I was always out with my friends. But I look back at a certain point, I got divorced. My daughter was 4. I raised her. I waited about a year. Then I raised my daughter pretty much. I was the primary parent. So I had her 25 days out of the month.
Okay.
So I looked at it as I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm going to give some time. And then I started dating. Didn't really find anything for a while. Then I had a relationship. My daughter met her a little bit, but I was never 100% in. We broke up. And then I just said, you know what? That's it. I'm not dating. I'm a parent. I'm going to raise my kid. And
That's
I regret
fair.
doing that
Okay.
because I didn't show her what a relationship looks like.
Okay.
I didn't show her this is how it is. She got to see, oh, my dad he's fine by himself, and I am.
But if you had dated all that time and just not met anybody anyway, then you would have wasted all that time meeting somebody, trying to meet somebody and not doing it instead of. But
I would have focused on my kid anyway. Let's face it.
I think people, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it seems like when more women have gone to therapy than men in general.
I think that's changing.
It is changing, but historically, it's been more of a stigma for men to do that.
Yes.
Personally, I would love it. If I meet a guy and I've been to therapy, I'm like, fucking A, man. And anybody who goes and tries to do something to improve themselves,
that's what we talked about earlier.
Definitely something I want. I'd much rather than some guy that's, I don't go to therapy because I don't have problems and blah, 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 blah. I've heard all of that.
That's for a pussy. No,
I'm from New England, and like I said, you and I talked about this. You probably see more of it than I do. In New England, it's a very big stigma for men up here still, where they, even if they do go, they refuse to tell anybody because it's like this big thing where they get their balls busted for it.
Yeah. I'm in New York, by the way, in case anybody wants to know.
Yeah, exactly. He's in New York, so in New York, I think it's a little more normalized down there.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it seems like women are going, okay, we're trying to find out as early as possible, and that lends itself to the haystack dating method, which some of you may know.
Oh, what is that?
Okay. Haystack dating method is the concept of burning the haystack, meaning you could look for a needle in a haystack by trying to sift through it, or you could just throw a match in there and burn up all the hay and get the needle and leave. And that's the concept of burn haystack. And what it is, rhetorical analysis and critical discourse analysis of trying to figure out what guys are looking for based on early conversations, so you just don't waste your time. Looking at profiles and finding out what you will or will not deal with somebody before you even talk to them. You know what I mean? And then it's also working on algorithms and dating sites, because I meant to mention this before, but dating sites they shuffle the deck back on you. So if you're flipping through dating sites and you say, I don't want to see this person, the dating site will just recycle that person.
I know.
They've done that forever. So the haystack dating method is anybody I know I don't want to date or I've decided I don't want to talk to, I block. That tells the algorithm, I don't want this, stop giving it to me, because otherwise it'll keep giving you the same old crap. There's usually a deck of people in the middle that are profiles that aren't necessarily very productive, but they keep giving to people because they're trying to keep them, giving them options. In the beginning of Burnt Haystack, you could probably go through all your profiles and end up with nothing. And she's, this is Jenny Young, right? She's the one who came up with this. And she's, even if you end up with nothing, it doesn't matter because you don't want options that are not valid for you. So if you go through a dating site and end up with nothing, then so much the better, because you're not sifting through. You're basically trying to be more efficient with your time. So there's a bunch of stuff that you'll do. A guy that starts off with, hey, beautiful, is an instant, we call it B2B, which is burn to block.
Oh, wow.
So guys who come out of the gate with visual compliments are typically not what you want. And there's a bunch of other stuff that guys will say up front.
Since you know pretty much nothing about this person, you may know a little bit from the bio. Mm-hmm. What you mostly know is, I found you attractive.
I've never understood the concept of telling somebody you find them attractive. If you're talking to them, it's usually already like an established thing.
But don't you want it's still nice to hear?
No, not for me. But yes,
again, you're the outlier.
Most women are not really interested in that, especially.
I hope your dating profile title is outlier, because it would be perfect.
When it comes to haystack dating method, a lot of women are now on that, and it's thousands at this point. And a lot of them have that same attitude. They don't really want compliments from somebody they don't know. Why would that be validating? This is a stranger. And so he's got to come out of the box with, I've got a profile full of stuff, so you've got to come to me with more than, oh, hey, beautiful, or you're hot, or whatever.
Well, I agree with that. You can't just say compliments.
Come to me with some kind of like substantive opening, especially. A lot of guys are coming out of the gate asking for sexual favors. Of course, those are burns, right?
Yep.
Things like directive. Hey, if you knew it was good for you, you would do this and this. All those things are covered in like the method of Haystack. And so you go through all of that. You go through all your blocks. And then I think it's like something like 15 minutes a day. You want to take 15 minutes a day, dedicate it to swiping, making your messages, doing whatever you want to do. Put your phone down and walk away. The phone is not supposed to run your life. It's supposed to be a tool.
I agree with that.
So every day for 15 minutes, anybody you're talking to on the dating site can wait like a fucking day. It's not the end of the world, because you do get guys, at least I don't know about women because I don't date them, but you will have guys that will give you attitude if you don't talk to them within 30 seconds of them sending a message.
You will get women who do that as well.
Yep. So it's, oh, hey, it's not the end of the world if you don't hear right back from me within a half a minute. It's like ridiculous. It's stuff like that weeds people out anyway. So anybody who comes up front with dumb stuff or who gives you an attitude immediately, instead of being upset about that, you can go, oh, good. I'm glad this guy did this when they did.
So what is a good opening message then? Finding something in common. Oh my God, I love this type of music too.
Yep. It's better off if it's not sexual. It's better off if it's not even relationship based. No affectionate crap. Oh, I'm a cuddler. You want to cuddle? Nope.
No, ridiculous.
Nothing about PDA and hand holding and all that stuff. No. This is all stuff that you're going to know down the line, but isn't good to open with.
Absolutely.
And I would say, I personally believe most women that I know think the profile is where you should start. You should read the profile and see what in it that you find interesting or in common or whatever. And then it just a, hey, hello. I figured I'd send you a quick message. I realized in your profile that you like this. I happen to be an avid golfer or a skier or whatever it is. And hey, what slopes do you typically hit or whatever? Something like that. Just bring a conversation forward on common ground. And then that's the last thing to know, obviously, is that people are going to respond if they want to and not if they don't. And it's not personal. And so you put it out there and it goes where it goes. But yeah, that's what Haystack Method is. And it's actually pretty cool.
Wow.
I'll have to send you some of her videos. There's just people that come in and say, here's what I did. I went online and talked to this guy and he said this. And she'll be like, oh, that's this directive. Oh, there's one called I'm the Prize where a guy tells you how great he is and how stupid you are if you don't. There's all these different types of rhetorical labels that she gives stuff. And it's cool because it teaches women not only online with dating, but with just general conversation, like how to understand what somebody's getting at. That you normally would end up in a relationship with somebody for 6 months and waste your time. Now you can see
that happens
within the first conversation how you could have avoided that. That's always helpful. So yeah, when you get a chance, I'll send you over some of her videos. But if you Google Burn Haystack Dating Method, it'll come right up. I mean, it's huge. It's a huge thing. God. There's a Substack.
I love research.
Yeah, it'll just be this. If it's still the same, it'll be like this little like drawing of a woman with a match, smoke coming out of it, and a haystack in front of her. But yeah, that's the concept of it, and I kind of like it because it's analytical. It deals with just data and how it takes away all of the stupid stuff that you like. You could argue with people online, but if they're not for you, then you just block them. Like, why would you waste your time even arguing with somebody? So you don't even tell them you're not interested. You just block and move on.
In our lives, we are older. Know what we want, know what we don't want. If you said to me in the middle of I don't see this going anywhere. Okay, you want to take this to go? And I wouldn't ask you a question other than, would you like me to drive you home or would you like me to pay for an Uber? And that would be that, because...
Let's hope a smart girl brought her car.
The same thing to you. I could do the same thing to you, by the way.
Exactly.
And I hope you would take it the same way. Yeah, I don't see this going anywhere. I'm going to catch the rest of the Mets game. I'm paying the bill.
First, I don't know why anybody would take that personally. Like I said, if you go out and you're dating somebody, if you go out with you and you're meeting somebody for the first time, I don't care how much we talk on the phone. I don't care how much we text each other. I don't care how many pictures we send. We can't know if we have any interest in each other until we get in the same room. That's it.
Bingo.
I don't care how much you try to avoid that. that's just a reality that we're going to have to go through that step in order to get anywhere else. And we can connect as much as you want before that, but it's still going to make no difference if we get there and it ain't what we want. And let's just deal with that. Like, instead of trying to avoid it and tiptoe around it. And
I agree.
So in that case, it's kind of like somebody says to me, hey, this isn't for me. And I'm like, all right, I totally understand. So I don't know. I just think I don't think it's healthy to apply any kind of ego or identity to it at first like that.
It isn't, but we still do. And
we could actually avoid that. There's a way around doing that. You could
Yes,
not do
there
it.
is, but I tell my friend who is extremely angry. He's just one of those guys who blows up.
Okay.
And he goes, I know,
That's not good.
I gotta fix this. And he says that once a month.
Yeah.
And I said, the alcoholic who says, I'm an alcoholic, I gotta fix this, and never goes from step 1 to step 2, never gets any better. Just sitting there saying, I have this problem, you're not fixing it. So yes, any problem can be fixed.
Right.
You acknowledge the problem, you fix the problem. Part 2 is the hardest.
I think,
And they never do.
I think it's annoying for me because people like that end up affecting other people. Like, they end up bothering everybody else with their shit.
Yeah, I don't talk to that person as much.
I don't care if you don't fix your shit, but don't inflict it on like these poor people around you that don't have anything to do with it. I very strongly believe that people should not have to put up with your nonsense. If you have nonsense, great. But this is what most people like to deflect out on everybody else. And I find that to be a violation in a lot of cases.
I agree.
That's just me. But yeah, hey, why do we care? What are you telling us for? Go handle it. But again, my personality is that everybody deals with their own feelings. That's basically how it is in my relationship. So if I feel bad about it, I'll go over there and deal with it. And if you have something you need to do, you go over there and deal with it. And of course, there's a compromise to it, but that's my default. And so that's why by default, I don't think anybody should be vomiting their nonsense on other people around them.
Okay.
Unless, I guess, somebody requests that you do that or somebody offers to listen to it or whatever.
Again, you're a pot looking for the lid that matches. I don't care. You said sad.
Not sad. It's not sad. It is what it is. I don't believe in fate. I don't believe.
I don't either, but I just think it would be sad if there weren't somebody out there. Two individuals who are fully formed and get together and make each other happy.
I think if you think it's sad, then that's probably more conditioning.
Movies and TV?
Yes. That's like an outcome that would be negative for someone.
Half the time I'm happy because I'm single. Half the time I'm upset because I'm single.
If I could have a relationship where most of my single stuff doesn't have to go away, that would be nice.
Again, finding your lid.
But again, I think you have to, I don't know about men, but I know for women, we have to be aware of the fact that we may not find what we're looking for, especially with what's going on right now. We have to be okay with that. And I think most of us are, like, we've made peace with the I may be single forever thing, and this is life. I don't know that it's sad. I just think it's a statistical reality. I don't think it's happy or sad or anything. I just think it's the way it is.
I saw a TikTok from a comedian. There was some woman who said, oh my God, he cracked the code, get him. And the code was basically, I'm a single woman who can my own house, have my own job, have my own friends, have my own interests. Yes, I would like to have some companionship sometime, but I don't want to give up spread eagle on the bed when I have all the room and I can go shower and shop and do whatever I want to and sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix. I don't have to worry about looking good or smelling good. For some guy, I can do what I want. I just need him maybe 15 minutes a day. And that was it. And the women were like just applauding, like, he's got it.
Would you say that we are in uncharted territory right now?
Always in uncharted territory?
No, I don't think so. I think for a long time we've been dealing with the traditional norms of dating and courting and all that. And I think as feminism has gotten more prevalent and as women have gotten more opportunity, we are now in uncharted water situation, meaning we've never really had women that pretty much had just about the exact same thing that men did. And so our needs aren't what they used to be, where our needs used to be.
True.
I need a guy that's going to support me, that there's a few things that women didn't have the opportunity to do. And now we're, in my opinion, I think we're looking for men that are just like personality-wise and emotionally sound. That's what I mean. Like, we're looking for...
It would be nice.
Women don't need men to support them, to fix things for them, to buy things for them. They're just now looking for somebody that can take care of themselves, or doesn't need to take care of someone else and doesn't need anybody to take care of them. You would be easy. Yeah. I guess fully formed too, but mostly self-sufficient, not looking for somebody to support, not looking for somebody to take them in.
But how do you find that person?
I don't know. I'm just saying, is this what it is that we need, or is this where we're at?
I think it should always have been what we needed.
Not really, because there was a point in time where women didn't buy houses. Women didn't. So I'm just saying, like, what we need from a guy at this point, because guys keep going on and on. What difference does it make? What do we bring to the table? What's the point of us now? This question that's going around where they don't know what they're supposed to.
You asked me what men want, and I said, my age range, peace, and that's it. What do women want?
I personally believe, from all my friends, that's what we're looking for. Literally a teammate, a partner, in an equal sense.
Yes.
I'm not saying everybody want. Some people be a housewife. That's fine.
Again, that's still a partnership, as long as
we're looking for somebody who has the same and is looking to just coordinate.
Yes. Okay.
That's what I think. I think most of us are just like, we're looking for a guy that's where I'm at. We tend to run into guys that want to move in and just live off of us.
No.
I hear from guys that women are looking for money from men all the time. I don't know. Where do you meet these women? No. I don't know. None of my friends are like this. And I don't know. That must be a young thing.
I think so, too.
I don't know. But what we're looking for is there are men that are like trying to throw money at us in order to impress us. And at this point, we're just kind of, no, we have our own money. We have our own stuff. Sure, it's nice if somebody wants to pick up the check once in a while, but this is not why we're attracted to this guy. It's nice, but it's not a requirement. It's not, I guess it gets points, but not really. And then we're looking for somebody that like just can be responsible for themselves. Hi, I can cook my own meals. I can clean my own stuff. I can pay my own bills.
Where do you stand on being a gentleman and chivalrous? Is it, do you need me to hold the door open for you, or is it, I can do it myself?
I do it myself, but I don't believe in doors as chivalry. I believe in doors as courtesy.
Okay, that's fine.
So I actually hold doors for everybody, men, women, people,
so
whatever. I don't see it in the context of like pedestal placing or as in a chivalrous gentleman thing. I just see it as hold the door for everybody because you're a good person.
Okay.
I also don't believe in holding the door and expecting a response for it. I've gone back and forth.
Oh, that bothers me.
I've gone back and forth with Dave about this, where it's do it because you like to do it. If they don't thank you for it, don't give them a hard time about it. Just go, oh, right, that's that person. But don't don't let it stop you from being who you are, if that's what you want to do. Just because somebody isn't grateful for it doesn't mean like you shouldn't do it. So that's all. Those two are not connected, but a lot of people do put them together. And that's interesting to me. That's transactional.
It is, but I think it's just the social nicety. I'm going to hold the door for you because I want to. You should want to say, hey, somebody did something nice for me. Thank you. It didn't cost me anything.
It's a should. It's a should.
My favorite word in the English language.
So it's a directive, though, where you're trying to, you can't get somebody else to do what you want them to do because it's polite and social for you. That's their choice.
And that's dating.
It is dating, too.
You should want them, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
It's possible to get frustrated and feel despondent about something like that if you keep looking at it like, why can't somebody just thank me for this? It permeates your attitude at some point. And you have to let it be separate and apart from what you are doing as a nice tea or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
where you're saying, all right, I want to hold the door because it's just me. And I don't care if I don't personally think, I don't even pay attention to them whether they thank me or not. I don't care. I just don't care. You can never control what other people do. Like, you just can't. No. You can only control you and how you handle what's going on.
But you would like to think that you would like to think all people are nice. And then it isn't. It just isn't.
Yeah, but I guess it's a good way to disappoint yourself by continuing to think it's going to happen. But
I have hope. I will always have hope.
And so I get it. That's why I don't like compliments. Because compliments force interaction. And compliments are typically, I believe, obligatory. And I've had people give me a hard time about that, but I don't want to have to now answer you that you gave me a compliment that I didn't ask for about typically something I had nothing to do with.
So if you're going to a wedding and your boyfriend picks you up and he just goes, you look really nice.
I guess it's okay as long as me not saying thank you is not going to be an argument. That's the thing. If somebody's complimenting me expecting a response and they don't like my response, or I don't give them the response they want.
Is the response going to be, fuck you?
Why? I don't know. Why have a response at all? And if somebody's like, she didn't even say anything back, it's kind of, so to me, a compliment coming from somebody that already knows me, that doesn't have anything to gain by giving it to me, I'll take it. And it's much, much more appropriate for me if it's an accomplishment on my part. What I look like has nothing to do with me, anything I've done. So most of the time it's like, congratulations on how you look. I have nothing to do with that.
Congratulations, you took a shower and put on a dress.
Congratulations. What's that John Mayer said? Congratulations on your face. That's what that is. It's this weird thing when you're now thanking people for something that you did not have anything to do with. If I accomplish something, hey, you did a term paper and you got an A+ on that. That's awesome.
That's an accomplishment.
That's a compliment I'll take. Because I did it. That's something I did. I worked for it. I got it. Whatever. But just telling me you're tall, or when I'm tall, or you're good.
You're tall.
I'm not, but I'm just saying those things are weird because they're not anything that I have any control over.
Okay.
And I feel like with some people that I don't know that give compliments, I feel like it's some way to engage you in conversation. It's like a coin up. I put the coin in, I want this out kind of interaction to me. And they have a reason to be mad at you if you don't respond. It gives them leverage, I think. So when somebody says, hey, you're really good looking, you're like, oh, great. Now I have to say thank you. If I don't say thank you, I'm a bitch. If I do say thank you, now I'm stuck in a conversation with somebody I don't want to talk to or whatever.
How about the ones who would say, I know, and then walk off?
So if you say, typically you're agreeing with them, so that's polite.
Yep.
Or I'm aware of this, or okay. But yeah, just giving me a compliment is like when I'm walking down the street or just when I don't know you, it's like you're making me talk to you.
That is the point. You're trying to create interaction just to get to know you.
And so it's okay. You might think I'm good looking, but why do I have to deal with it? Why are you making it my problem that I have to talk about this to me? I think most women, but like I said, this is just somebody you don't know. In that case, it's just weird.
But it's hard to make an introduction out of whole cloth. Like I said, you're right. Coming up with a line or, hey, I'm Bob, I'm going to rock your world. It's ridiculous.
I would laugh at that. But what about a regular conversation?
Well, you got somewhere.
Right. And so what's
wrong?
Maybe
the next line is, hey, how do you feel about Elizabethan poetry?
That's
because I'm studying it.
Or something, I think something related to the common ground of wherever you're at. And then a conversation from there. And if you have in my opinion, if you're good at what you do, you should be able to pick up on rhetoric and body language. Within a certain amount of time, you should be able to tell whether somebody is just talking to talk to you or not. And then you could continue a conversation and become friends. Personally, don't believe it should have to become a relationship out of the gate.
I agree.
It should be somebody you get to know. And like, then
I agree.
What do you call it? Like it's an organic connection. You both get along on some level. You have conversations about stuff that you both find interesting. And it goes where it goes. Why can't it become, if it becomes a relationship, why can't it become a friendship first? And like I said, I think that's how people say when you're not looking for it, it happens. It means that it's not what your goal is. It's just, you're just a person and you're out there just connecting with people. If you do that long enough, something will turn into a relationship, even if you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, again, a relationship, like you just said, doesn't have to be dating.
No. So
there are plenty of other relationships.
I think most guys should get off of the goal of it being a date or trying to make it a date and just make it, here's another human being in a space I'm in that I find could be an interesting person. And I just talk to them, and it doesn't matter how it turns out. It doesn't matter if they don't want to talk to me. It doesn't matter if it doesn't come a date. It's just me getting to know them as a human being. And we gel, we don't gel, whatever. I don't think enough people are connecting on an organic level for the sake of it anymore.
Do they know how to again? If you're all tied to your device, and we're all meeting
I think we should really start talking to people in public again. We have to make an effort because it's not going to happen by itself. We have to make an effort.
We have to learn.
But
we learn?
We already have a history. For Christ's sake, we came from the generation where we did it, so it's not like we don't know how it happens.
The last time I met someone who was significant was because I was working in the studio and she happened to be in the studio and we had things in common, and that started out and boom, we had a relationship. See? I don't know where I would even meet anybody anymore. Like I said, my last hope was, hey, that girl on the train looks nice.
So all you would have to do is, all right, so why don't you just talk about the train? Talk about trains. I'm just saying, you're on one. Hey, have I seen you on this train before? Do you normally take this one? You don't want to tell, obviously you don't want to ask people where they live, but hey, do you take this train? Have I seen you here? It's just something like that. It doesn't have to.
Unfortunately, the last conversation would have been because unfortunately there was a train delay because somebody got hit by one. And
that's a conversation. That would have been a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, that happened the next day. She wasn't there.
Oh, then that wouldn't have been a thing. So then, when you were talking, when she was there, you would have had to bring up, you would have had to have a topic.
Yep.
And so I think personally, if you're on a train with somebody, that's a good common topic. Or if you're both in Starbucks, that's a good common topic. Or
I hate Starbucks.
Whatever. I'm just making up shit. If you're both in one place, then you would bring up something about that place.
And I used to be good at this, but
how are you going to be good at it if you don't practice it?
10,000 hours of proficiency makes you an expert.
Like I always tell people, I have this whole A to Z on how women should approach men. In my case, it happens quite a bit, but for you to say men are supposed to pursue, because it just means you don't have to do it. It just basically talks you into a space where you can just blame it on the other. You can justify the laziness of it or whatever. I always say, if you don't really know how to approach somebody you like, then you have to start by approaching people you don't like, meaning you have to approach everybody. You have to talk to everybody. You have to talk to people who are older than you, who are younger than you, men, women, whatever. Just in general, in your travels, you just do that.
I take the train. I have to take a 2-minute bus ride to the train because it's a shuttle.
Yep.
And I made friends with, there's a 20-year-old college student who he's a really nice guy, and we have some conversation. And there is a woman who's a nurse who's a little older than me, and we're like bus buddies. We're like, hey, this one's not here, they're coming. And
it's just like that then. What's the difference?
Because it's what you said before. What? Remember, you talked about men are looking for something. When I know I was attracted to this woman, my brain all of a sudden went into, I don't know what to say. When there is no attraction and I'm just shooting the shit, I'm free and easy. I can say whatever I want.
You're the master of your brain, so you take your brain and you put it into I'm not attracted mode and you talk. That's all.
I'm trying.
So what you normally do with anybody else, or make it an automatic thing where you don't think about because you don't care about the outcome. You have to let go of that.
I am an overthinker. I am right now thinking of Oh, wow, my head's sunburned because I was outside. And how much more work I still have to do before the barbecue tomorrow.
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
forgot I got to get laundry done on Monday
I do
while I'm
that
talking to
too.
you.
But what other people's responses are and what other people think of it is not something you can control.
Not at all.
So you'll spin if you try to think about that stuff because you can't make it anything you want it to be. It just is what it is. So you let all of that go. I can understand your own stuff because I'm the same way. But if I talk to somebody that I think is cute or I don't think is cute, whatever they do with it is not my problem. It's just not my problem.
I wish I could do that.
Everybody can do
I understand it. Understanding it is one thing. What did I say before? Knowing one thing, but going to that second step. And I have to put it into practice.
That's the only way to do it. Is to
I agree with you.
So most of my ex-boyfriends are men that I picked up. It's definitely been stuff that I'm used to doing. But
that's awesome.
In general, the kind of guy that I'm looking for isn't going to approach me. And the kind of guy that does is going to be a turnoff to me. So I have to be proactive. Otherwise, I will never date. Because the guys that talk to me first are not my type.
She showed me, you're going to love this one. I just remembered this. She showed me, she had a friend who was in LA trying to make it as an actress. And she was on the dating sites. And she sent this to my girlfriend who showed it to me right away. And it was a guy who apparently was an executive at a studio. And it was after the Oscars had been presented like a week or two before. It was a picture of him in a tuxedo around an arm of an empty chair. And it said, if you were dating me, I could have taken you to the Oscars. It's again, so nothing about you. This is what I do and what I can do for you.
My sister and I are talking about this because my sister's trying to date in Metro Atlanta, which is, I live there too, and it's not, from what the guys there have told me, it's not easy to deal with the women in Atlanta. So, like, one of those women in Atlanta that was like one of those Coach Birkin bag type chicks might think that's,
there you go.
They might think that's a good payoff for dating this guy, but I don't know. And my sister and I have talked about, I guess she dates guys that, or she's talked to guys that are like, you have no idea what these women are asking for. They're like asking for money and they want money to get their nails done and their hair done. And like my sister and I,
for everything on the date.
My sister and I are real practical and none of that is our thing. So we're wondering if we might be what guys would want because we're not looking for that. It must also be like a completely out of sorts in deal with them to have a girl that doesn't want any of that, not to know how to proceed.
I'm sure.
I just don't play the game is my thing.
There you go. That's the problem. It's not a problem. It's just, that's why you can't understand.
But that's what this podcast is. It's a logical podcast. So we break it down into the analytical. Here's what's happening here.
But feelings and emotions control so much of our actions. Look, you're not getting an argument from me, but...
I use the word feeling.
It's just, you like logic?
Yes.
It's what happens. It is what happens. Should it happen? No. But does it happen? Yes. And that is the logic to it.
All right. And you take that and you say, okay, I might, let's say I go after this job and I don't get it. And then somebody else gets a job that I don't, like a DJ gig or something. I might feel bad about that. But what difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference.
Oh, it's not going to make any difference.
So what?
It's not going to get you the job.
Why do
It's not going to change how you feel.
So why even address or entertain that feeling? What's the point?
Because
it doesn't. It's not productive.
We have emotions for a reason.
Because I understand gauging. To me, emotions are a gauge, and they're a gauge to tell me where I'm at in the universe of whatever's happening.
Right.
So I take that information and then I say, okay, this tells me this. I need to make this decision next time, or I need to do this differently, or whatever. But after about 5 minutes, what's the fucking point? Okay, discard it. Get the information out of it. Find out what you need to do. Apply it to whatever. Do something with it that's productive instead of just spinning your wheels on it.
I understand the words you are saying and I agree, but I have, and you're talking to someone who loves logic. I absolutely adore it, but I also am ruled a lot by emotion. And I have to feel, like you said, when you were talking about your dog before, I know when the time comes when my dog, I'm going to be apathetic, crying in a corner in the fetal position.
But that's also grief.
And I will talk to any and everybody. I want to be alone.
For me, I'm gonna grieve, and there's a loss, and I'm gonna go through that, and I expect that. I just don't know what walking around telling everybody else I'm grieving is going to do for any good. It doesn't.
If it helps me better when I'm in such a bad situation, and I have friends around me who know this is going to make my friend feel better, so let me just blather on.
And that all makes sense, because that's a perfect equation. In my case, it actually makes me feel worse. It makes it worse to express externally. It makes it harder. It makes me like, if something's happening, I'll deal with it. But somebody asking me, how are you? And I cry, it's okay. Now I'm worse. I was okay and dealing with it. And somebody asking me if I'm okay actually makes the situation worse for me. It doesn't make sense. But again, that's just the way I'm programmed. It just means,
I'm glad you feel that way. This is what I said before. Your partner has to learn how you feel and how you deal with things and adapt, and you have to adapt to how that person feels. I'm wondering about this because I talk on the phone quite a bit for work.
Okay.
And as I do, I'm a chatty person. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. How are you today? Now, I realize that is a question that really just supplies an answer of, do I really care? Now, if someone said something like, I'm going through it today, I would actually be interested and go, oh, tell me. I'd be interested in the story and seeing what I could do. But it seems like as the years go on, I still say, how are you today? And half of my calls now are dead silence. Not even the perfunctory, I'm fine, what do you want? Just silence. He's not asking how I am. I have to break the silence.
We have to go back to storytelling, because you don't really know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
You don't know. They may just think it's part of your greeting and then continue with what they're doing and just not acknowledge it, but they might not think you don't care. They may just not be thinking about it either way.
So I guess we're going back to manners when I said, I will hold the door no matter what.
But
social contract doesn't.
That goes back to something called the playbook. The playbook is something that you get or you develop from your childhood that you think is a universal language that everybody speaks. However, it's only going to be within your family and your little whatever. So what you think is polite may be completely different for another culture or another family or another neighborhood. And in the sense that it might not fall into place the way it normally does just because they're used to some other thing. My family was like the passive aggressive type. Passive aggressive and a sweep under the carpet and indirect was my family, which I hate, so I don't do it. So
I like that each person has their own playbook that they learned from when they were young.
That's what I think. I see people in relationships do this where they're trying to get somebody to respond a certain way. I'm trying to make this guy jealous, or like you're trying to get an emotional reaction out of somebody. And I really hate that. I think that's just because I was raised with somebody who tried to get that out of me all the time.
It is. It's ridiculous, but people do it.
We, like adults, we discuss this.
Okay, so we have been talking for almost 4 hours.
Yes. This is a long podcast.
What have we learned?
What have we learned? We've learned that we need to do a whole lot more in person. That people need to be more interested in connecting in person and get off of these social apps and all that other stuff.
And we learned how to approach rather than the direct approach, the side approach.
Yep.
I like that one. How to respond to someone on a dating app, and don't start with "Hey, beautiful" or something stupid. Just, hey, I saw you were at the beach a lot. I like the beach. It's your favorite beach.
See, that's all it is. When I start a conversation, I drive it. So in my opinion, if I start it, if I initiate it, then I should be the one running it. The onus is on me to carry the conversation if I initiate it. I think that there are a lot of guys who initiate conversation just for the response, and then when they get the response, they drop the conversation. And a lot of women have complained about men who don't carry. the conversation.
I can see that.
They come in and they go, hey, and you go, hey back, and then you don't hear anything. Or they say one thing back to you and they just say enough to get you to respond, but there's no substance to the conversation. And
happens too.
I don't know. I feel a lot of things that guys do indicate what you're dealing with. I like readers and writers. Now, there's a reason I like that. I like readers. I like guys who are interested in books. I like people who like to learn. You don't have to be reading books per se if you have ADHD and can't do that. But somehow or other, I hope you're trying to get knowledge in some way. Documentaries, audiobooks, whatever.
Oh, you'd love my friend. He's the one who reads every day.
But I also like writers because I know writers are proficient and articulate.
Yes.
Readers I like because if I put a profile up, I know a reader is going to read my profile without even thinking about it. But I know guys who don't read will immediately complain about how long my profile is. I don't think it's that long, but I'm a wicked reader. So to me, it's not a big deal. Some guys will come in and say, oh, this is like War and Peace. Who has time to read that? It isn't. But if you're not a reader, it's probably annoying. There's something in there that you might want, and you don't want to go all the way through the middle to get it or whatever. But a reader will if you're a real reader, it's nothing. It's no big deal. And you'll just read it because that's who you are. I know this about guys who read because that's
Wait, so this is a test then?
It is a test, but it's before you even speak to me. It tells me what I like, intelligence and articulation in a guy. And those two things usually follow with good conversation and somebody who's got some substance. And so this clears out all the like one-liner guys, one-word guys, the monosyllabic shit that I get. Because I don't want like Nick from Family Ties. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, good poll. There we go.
Yeah, I just watched something with him in it. Scott, what the hell's his name?
Valentine.
There you go. In my opinion, I think without even thinking about it, a reader will just read through the profile anyway. I also have, if I can, I'll put a limit on responses. So I think it's like a 50 character response as a limit or something like that.
So you could even do that.
It used to be that Plenty of Fish would do that. I don't know if they still do, but I've had somebody like just mad and type a bunch of characters to get through and I laugh because I'm like, here's a guy who I know I'm not going to have any kind of good conversation. If you can't get 50 characters in and you're hitting that limit and you're mad about it, then that's a
red flag.
Somebody who I want to talk to won't even see that limit. They won't even notice it's there. Whereas a guy who types 3 words and then it doesn't go through is going to get mad, and that's probably who he is. So things like that are in there just like to keep the general crap from coming through. But yeah, a writer though is also going to come back with always pretty substantive, a good solid paragraph of information. So that's why I like writers. And writers are just articulate, So
what would you think of somebody using ChatGPT? You wouldn't know it.
Yes, I would.
How would you know?
There's no human voice to ChatGPT. I think I've seen it and it's pretty. ChatGPT is good for like word salad.
Absolutely.
Most guys that I've seen that use it, either they don't know how to prompt it.
That's a different story.
But I don't think in human voice, it typically makes sense what it's saying, but it's non sequitur. A lot of it, sometimes it has just filler in it. I can't explain it, but I can tell by reading it.
That's why, because when I type in something and then just sit there and tell it exactly how I want it to sound, but I will tell it, this is what I'm saying, make it sound friendlier, make it sound this, make it sound that.
That's fine though, because you're giving it substance. Yeah. I think a lot of guys that use ChatGPT in dating sites, I hate to be elitist about this. I just don't think I think they're letting ChatGPT actually respond on its own. In other words, they're not even giving it any kind of information to go from it. It's just saying, hey, respond to it. You have
nothing.
But then I've seen a lot of guys that put dating sites up. There's a funny thing that Facebook dating does where if you make a profile, it pulls random pictures from your regular Facebook photos.
Does it? Oh.
Now, it's okay, but most guys, I don't think most guys they just don't pay attention to detail. For a lot of guys, photos that aren't related to anything they're trying to do, it's just, it'll pull just weird generic photos with not them in it, or just something that they posted on Facebook at some point. it'll pull 10 random photos out of you. And then it's up to you to go through those photos and say, oh, let's remove this. Let's replace it with this. But a lot of guys don't do that because they're lazy. They just go, oh, this is great. It just does its own thing. They don't even look to see what the photos are that came through.
I'm sure there are women who do that as well.
They probably are, but I guess.
Doubtful.
Right.
Not as much.
They probably do. I just don't see them because I don't see what women do. But yeah, I just think, does this guy, like sometimes Facebook too, guys will just completely repost the same picture. A lot of guys don't have, I get it. No, most guys don't have pictures. I get it.
I agree.
It's hard for them to.
I take the pictures in my group.
Right, yeah. A lot of them don't have current pictures of. You know how many guys that have posted pictures of their wives and their wife scribbled out? Do you know? Oh my God!
Oh boy!
Or just cut out or whatever. Because guys can't edit for shit. A lot of them are not tech savvy and stuff like that. That's like the last good picture they took was like at a wedding with their ex-wife that's not even around anymore. And they go, "This is a good picture of me. I'll just scribble my ex-wife out." I've seen that. So. That's fine.
I get my kid to cut her out.
Same thing. They do the same thing with their kids and stuff. But being Facebook, not looking like I go through my photos and I look and I always take duplicates out. If you put up a cover photo and you want to put it back up again, it'll post that picture and the old one will still be there. So eventually you'll have 5 of the same picture. Oh, some of these guys don't look at that, and about 3 out of their 6 pictures are the same exact one. And you're like, okay, now I know these guys are not looking at this because but I don't care what they say, whether they're tech savvy or not or whatever, it comes off as laziness, and there's no way to talk themselves. They can't talk out of that. They can't explain that away. So you're like, you want a guy who's trying to find somebody and he's trying to sell himself. This is a poor example of him selling himself. Or we have guys that start their profile off with everything that a woman should be and shouldn't be with absolutely no self-description. That's a lot. That happens all the time. And I'm going to send you some screenshots.
I was going to say, I don't look at guys' profiles.
After I'll send you some of these examples, and you're just going to be like, why are women even bothering anymore? It's ridiculous out there. Some of the stuff that they say.
I think we need to do more on deeper dive or just different channels of the same conversation. I don't know which.
Because I don't know what men are dealing with. I'm sure men are dealing with the same shit. But the stuff that women are dealing with is outlandish, and I can't even believe that women are still trying.
It sounds like it's a crap show on both sides.
It is. One guy said, I only sent that to you because I think for most men, they're not getting response much of anything. So they're sending weird shit just to see whether or not the woman's even getting their email. And one guy said to me, if I send stuff that doesn't make sense, at least I know I'll get a response. I get a better response that way. And I'm like, that's great, but does it lead to dating? I can't imagine that it does. No. Like, I guess getting a response in general is fine, but...
just playing a game there.
Maybe these guys are assuming they're never going to get anything out of it, so they might as well at least find out if somebody's alive on the other side. I don't know. All right, that wraps up the podcast for this month. It's going to be a long one. Going to break it up. But go to www.lanandave.com just to see all of our platform choices and all of our social media. So that's where you want to catch us. And we will be talking to you soon. Have a great day. Hey, you just listened to Love and Life with Lana and Dave. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share the podcast, leave us a comment or review, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new content. We'll see you soon.